Yeah, everyone, this is Thermites, and this is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of February 7th, 2021. Oh, I'm so excited. So, this week, new series, Witch Watch, I believe? Yeah, it is Witch Watch. By the creator of Astra Lost in Space, which I was super duper into. I did reactions to all of Astra. I'm not sure if I'd recommend going back and watching them. You can, like, they're not on the channel. They are on the full Thermite experience down below, but it's a little rough, I'm not gonna lie. That was back when I didn't really know how to record videos, and so the audio quality and the video quality on every single upload is different, and almost all of them are really bad. But I enjoyed doing the reactions themselves. Like, it is a really fun series. I haven't seen any of Sket Dance. I've heard it's really good, but I also know it is a much longer, more like traditional high school sort of series. So, not super duper excited with that. I'm excited for this though. Like, first of all, the main characters do look almost exactly like the two main leads from Astra Lost in Space. Like, pink upbeat girl here, and then the main male lead of Astra was, like, he didn't have the serious look, but I'd say in terms of character design, he looked almost exactly like this. And I really like the contrast here, in that, she's got, I'm not sure if that's supposed to be like the iPod loading thing or something, but she has a very vibrant look. He has the black and white look. His look also looks kind of reminiscent of a like those old jailer uniforms. So I'm not sure if we're gonna go for a, like, he's the punk kid, she's the super upbeat one. They fight crime. Like, especially Witch Watch. That makes me feel like it's probably going to be a tech series. Like, either they are, like, they have a witch watch that has magic powers that they use to solve crimes, or alternatively, I mean, you could take that a bunch of different ways. Like, they could also be watching witches, or uh like, they could be the witch watch, like they are witches and they watch people. Hmm. Anyways, quite excited. Let's blast through Black Clover and then I'll get right to the live stream. Starting off with Black Clover, chapter 281. No title here. Demons are a miracle born from human hatred and the power of the underworlds. Okay. Human hatred is interesting. Like, do they mean that, or is it just hatred in general? Because like, when the elves were using dark magic in their fights, they also looked like they were, like, demoning out. For a while I thought, like, what if demons are just evil elves or something? So, were these the two demons that we're now seeing right now? Okay, so regarding those two ancient demons, we woke them up. We released them in order to distract you. So, are the gates of Kivalot not open yet, then? Or, like, are they right on top of the gates or something? Because they also, like, these don't look like those demons, though. Like, especially with the four arms, like, these look a lot more like, the big bulky demon that Meregliona was fighting. Yeah, exactly like that. Huh, so I am a little confused. Like, I mean, I'll keep on reading, but in that case, is it that this demon and another one are hanging about? Or are these supposed to be the two, like, paired demons we saw last chapter? Okay, who the hell is this? So, you aren't a Magic Knight. I'm sorry to ask, but I need your power. Please help us. They've got, like, sort of slicked back hair. They're not a Magic Knight. That's the main thing. Like, who do we know who could help here? I mean, also, what is Julius going to do? Because, like, he's out of power, right? Like, he's got, like, one page left of his grimoire. Ah, but we do have, like, yeah. I hope we get to see, like, all the other, like, not just the captains, but, the people we saw in the big tournaments get to do some stuff here. Ah, demons charging straight for the royal capital. So, okay, it is this one and then the one that Meregliona is fighting in the, uh, in the Spade Kingdom. As useless as the king is, I am glad that we keep on seeing him. Like, I'm glad that this isn't a, oh yeah, there is a non-magic king, but we don't really talk about him. Like, he doesn't do a lot, but he is always present at the very least. God damn. So yeah, like, and that isn't even a counter, it is just a diversion. I really like the line work in this strike. Like, it isn't that extremely fancy, but I think that honestly makes it a lot better. Like, as opposed to being as ornate, like as ornately detailed as like Sea Serpent's Bellow over here. Like having most of the demons like midriff being negative space due to these attacks, like it gives it this really strong presence. It makes all the attacks feel more powerful, like they are destroying it, even though they aren't. I see Yukitopter ran out of time again for this one. It's been a hot minute. I feel like it's been at least a year, right? I'd put money on saying that we haven't seen, like, pure sketch panels in Black Clover for, like, a full year now. Oh! Oh, that's, Damnatio, right? Okay, that would make sense. If he's who Julius was talking to, because, yeah, like, I forget what he's even a part of. But yeah, like, the judicial system aren't magic knights. You know, I'm not sure if I like this. Like, I don't know if this really makes sense. Like, does this imply that even if he doesn't train, like, just by nature of growing up, he will regain all the pages he originally had? Because, yeah, he did describe before as, like, this body isn't strong enough. Like, that kind of takes away from his sacrifice. I mean, it still is a sacrifice in the sense that, you know, his true form now is when he's a little kid. He did have, you know, like, he used up all of that time. I guess it's more of a, like, Julius is just on a different, not power level, but, like, level of conceptual existence than everyone else. Like, due to the nature of his time magic. But yeah, that, like, I don't know if he'll actually step down then. Like, if he still has all the knowledge of being the Wizard King, and he can, like, reduce his age and, you know, regain all that power and still do all the paperwork, like, it feels like he is the perfect Wizard King. Whereas, like, both Asta and Yuno don't seem like they'd be able to, like, do what Julius does. Like, take a vested interest in everyone and also manage them really adequately. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so are they freezing? That's only one arm, though. Like, that also makes me feel more okay with the idea that he can accelerate his time. Like, if he can still do stuff, it is like, you know, one or two moves, and then that's it. In this world, magic is everything. Calling back to not... was it the first chapter? If it wasn't the first chapter, it was at the very least like the first few chapters. So who's gonna save them now? Oh, it's Asta! Oh, man. Oh, I really... like, I'm going to assume that it's probably not in Yukitopta's hands, but still, like, oh, it's really disappointing that this moment doesn't get to be fully fleshed out. Like, I do like this. I am glad that at the very least Asta himself is fully inked. And I do think in this version, like, in the, like, serialized edition, it does create this interesting, like, centering on him. In that we see Asta here, we see Liba now in his, like, tiny little form, like all of Noct's demons. And then we have, you know, the big black devil union over here. Like, those both feel very good. It's really just this panel that I'm disappointed by. Like, even this one I think is fine to, you know, leave sketchy. But, like, this one, like, we're focusing on Asta and Liba as they, you know, right before they devil union for the first time, you know, seriously. So yeah, a little disappointing, but the overall chapter is solid. Oh no, there's Steam updates. I will give this a solid... like, I don't think this is gonna rise too high. I think next chapter is going to be the big money shots. But, like, this chapter was good enough. And I do really like the ramp-up of, you know, in this world, magic is everything. Like, the Wizard King himself, you know, was able to pull himself back to his prime for a brief moment to fight off this demon, and yet he wasn't able to do it, he ran out, and now the boy without magic steps in to save him. Like, this is a really cool moment. As much as I was worried about what this meant for, someone succeeding Julius in the future, I do think this is actually a really strong, like, yeah, Asta can, at the very least, like, succeed him in one way. And this is probably going to be the proving ground in which Julius says, you know what? He doesn't have the mental chops to be Wizard King, but I respect his spirit even more than I already did. And Damnatio goes like, oh, you know what? Maybe devils aren't the worst. That's it also, like, Damnatio is going to view a devil union, and hopefully he's not going to interfere with it. Like, I imagine Julius would tell him to stop if he tried. So this could be a big watershed moment for, everyone. Like, not just Aston, not just the Black Bulls, but, like, the Clover Kingdom's conception of devils, especially after the last thing. Where, they were able to say, listen, the elves aren't all evil because they were being manipulated by a devil. Like, that still makes all devils seem really bad. I'm pretty excited. Okay, so, yeah, that's all I gotta say. Let's move on. Time for the live stream. Did someone say recording? Apologies for the wait. I had to do some stuff, and by some stuff, I sure meant, how do I explain this one? I kind of just got tripped up on saying Witch Watch over and over again. It was Witch Watch, and then also repeatedly saying that this was for the week of February 7th, 2020, as opposed to 2021. It was a little problem. Incidentally, now, I see that all of you are giving me the crazy thermites. Did no one notice for 3 weeks that the uploads on the YouTube channel said, day, month, and then 2020? They said 2020 for almost all of 2021, except for the very first upload of 2021, and no one noticed. No one told me. I fixed it, but no one told me. I mean, if you think about it, you guys, like, no one going on YouTube does mean I'm getting more popular in a sense. Like, if we go to the channel right now, actually, no, never mind. I was about to say, usually, like, in the past, like, all of my Weekly Shonen Jumps got around 100 views, and I have noticed, like, oh no, they did drop by about 30, which would, that does make sense if you guys, specifically you guys on the server right now, are not going on YouTube and watching these. Oh yeah, also Fire Punch. Whoops. I have it all edited-ish. I just need to kind of merge the files, and then that's going up at some point. Ah, you're right. Oh no. You learned the absolute truth, that the redirects are the best parts. Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, I've been, like, thinking about this a lot. I don't believe in, like, the American conspiracy of the silent majority. The idea that, oh, most of the country likes Trump, or, most of the country is extremely hard alt-right. But then I look at my own channel, and it does look like the majority of people who view my channel love DeadTube. But then I try to talk about it, and no one wants to talk about DeadTube, and it seems like no one likes DeadTube. But the least of my DeadTube reactions does have like 14k views, and the highest one has 58k. That's possible. It might be that I have a DeadTube only audience, and they sub specifically because they want more DeadTube, and then they just, force themselves to not look at all my other bad videos with no gore in them. That, or also, there is the possibility that all of you are gaslighting me, and you all love DeadTube. Like, you are here for DeadTube, and you just refuse to admit it. I'm not saying that's true, but it is a possibility. Okay, I'm not gonna call you out, just in case it turns out that everyone secretly loves DeadTube, but you don't want to say it. We can go to something less controversial, probably. I mean, I don't know if I want to call my shot on Witch Watch right now. Because, like, there are no physical wristwatches in this shot, which takes out my initial idea of, it is a witch watch, like it's a watch that has witch powers. But then our girl here, who seemed, what was the character from Astro Lost in Space? She looks almost exactly like that. But like she's got this thing that reminds me a lot of like the Apple loading swirly thing back in the day. She does that. You're right. She does look like a pink Arena now that I think about it. Like was it Aries? This girl. I remembered her hair being a lot pinker actually. Was it not? But yeah, like the two leads of of Witch Watch remind me a lot of these two. But now that I'm looking at these two, like there's a strong difference here, I guess. You got the anime nose cuts. This boy looks a lot meaner, and they also have a weird like she's very vibrant. He feels very sullen. He also has like the like prisoner outfit thing going on. Like not actually, like the stripes are thinner. That could just be a normal shirt, but it gives off the vibe of like he's the shut-in or the outcast, and she's the super popular one. But okay, so if I have to absolutely call my shot on the series, which no one is asking me to, but I always say in all my reactions, all right, it's time for you to call my shot. I have to do it. Um, I think it's going to be. Do I think she's literally a witch or not? I feel like it's going to be metaphorical. Hmm. I think it is going to be a like a techie series, and she's the tech girl, and so she's like a witch of computers, and then he is a guy who can punch people. A lot like Neolation, where the main duo Neolation was a wizard with the power to, hack computers and he could like set things on fire, and then another boy who punched people. That is my shots. I'm saying this is Neolation essentially. All right, let's go. Okay. Oh man, these colors look so nice. Like they're so watercolory. They're so splotchy. I love it. You're right. I've had it too good for too long. The last two series have not been yokai series. This could be a yokai series. I'm gonna say no, though. Let's say it's not. I'm going to guess it's not going to be about fighting yokai or fighting monsters. That said, this is such a normie intro. Like, I feel like, someone's gonna, like, ride or kick her in the face right after this. You can't start a series like this, it's too normal. Witch Watch 1, Witch's Return by Kenta Shinohara. Yeah, Kenta Shinohara. So, we've got like an alchemical seal down here. We've got the very big, like, halo / light bursts. Oh no. Oh no, Gamu, you were right. If this is a yokai series, that bell is definitely going to be it summons monsters to you. It's such a cute little bell, though. And, like, she's got tons of witch stuff all over her, but then, like, this doesn't look like a witch's broom. This does look like it's just firing fire out of it. Then you got, like, some mistletoe here. Like, there's a lot of, like, generally magic-y stuff going on. And then you have this boy, and he doesn't seem to have anything interesting going on with him. He's just sort of sullen. So far, I'm definitely losing all faith in my tech theory. Okay. You got your typical punks. It's me, Momota, and I'm okay. Really just spelling it out there. Okay. Now, this does concern me. It does feel like they're going to turn into monsters based on the story of Momotaro. Like, it does make it feel like this is going to be very, like, fairy tale based then. Okay, he's calling it out. I actually really like this flow with this character. Like, specifically like, how do I put this? The punk's talking is extremely basic, but the way our main character, our main character is thinking about this feels very Psyche-esque. Like there's a lot of internal digs. Okay, so he didn't fight back or anything. He did just dodge around a bit and then let them beat his ass. Oh, back when we were kids, Moto was the kid I did punch once. I really hurt him. That is actually a really cool line. Like, if an ogre hesitates to use his strength out of fear too often, it becomes habits. Then it won't be there for you when you really need it. But it is a weird, I'm not used to a dad saying, yeah, you should just beat their asses. Like, specifically because now you know how to hold back. Like, it isn't a you need to get stronger, you need to stand up for yourself. It is a you've always been able to, but you shouldn't let them walk over you now. I mean, to be fair, yeah, like the reason they're mad at him is just because they were beating up a kid and then he stopped them. Like, it's not even a you beat us up in that fight. It was just you stopped us from beating up this kid. Ah, do you mean Nico the witch? So that is so presumably she lived here, she moved away, she's coming back, and they already knew her as Nico the witch back then. Hmm. Okay, this is way more witchy than I expected. And it looks like that is the same broom from the color page, like the one that is firing fire out of it. She moved away to the witch's holy land so she could train back when we were in 4th grade, right? Oh boy, actually. So I should probably clarify now. When his father said if an ogre has like that whole thing, and then when they continued to say ogre, I assumed they meant that as a metaphor. Is that literal? I 100% assumed it was a metaphor. And it is really wild. Like, the series isn't playing it up. Like, I so rarely get to read manga that have chill. Like, this is a big twist, but they're not playing it as a big twist. They're playing it as a, like, yeah, in character, it makes total sense that he'd be thinking about like this. Witches normally take an animal for a familiar when they finish training, but Nico wants to be different. She insists on making you her familiar. Okay, so we are blasting forward. It is 11 pages in, and we are running with it. Okay. An ox familiar and a tiger familiar gained human shape and mated with humans. Their family lines mixed, making us ogres. We ogres are from a lineage of familiars. That means that there's gotta be, like, there have to be animal people in this world, right? I mean, I guess they could play it off as there was an era of humanity where there were animal people, but now they're all humans. But no, like, if witches are continuing to take animal familiars, then there have to be people who are in the stages of, becoming more animal-y or becoming, they were animals, they're becoming more human. Yeah, you saw through it. There gotta be cat people, right? I mean, if anyone has ever had a tiger familiar, that implies that people should still be able to have A, tiger familiars, B, tiger boy familiars. I mean, it's not that I don't know about furry content, it's that I can't read it on the channel because I can't find enough of it to do, like, a series. So I have to instead restrict myself by reading manga and then hoping every single week that cat ears show up in it. I mean, there is, but I'm not sure if this is the kind of cat boy I want. It's also really strange that it is, like, the family tree is ox familiar and tiger familiar. They gained human shape. They mated with humans. So now you have humans with ox familiar genes and humans with tiger familiar genes. Then those family lines mixed, and that's how you got ogres. Like, I'm surprised they didn't go with just a ogres are descended from ox familiars or something. It feels like a weird mix. Oh no, disobey a witch's orders and you'll be cursed to revert to our ancestors' forms. Your body will turn into some strange animal that's a mishmash of a tiger and a cow, probably. Oh no. Okay, so we are doing the, here's a boy and here's a girl and here's a wacky, horrible fate that will befall them unless they hang out together and he does everything for her. Oh, you're right. I am familiar with, like, Oni with the Tiger Prince. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a weird family tradition of we are descended from tigers, therefore we use tiger skins to cover our crotches. Oh no. So first of all, yes, he would love to be the servant of high school aged witch, but he's doing anime adults problems have finally hit. He's got to take the long-term business trip. He's leaving for the entire series. It's happening. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get more hybrids. Like, even if they do have to do the multi-stage step of, like, you have a kappa, but the kappa has to be related to other, like, real-world animal hybrids. Like, I'm okay with it. We are getting dangerously close to a yokai series if we do that, though. I'm just, fingers are crossed. Please, just give us animal people. I want animal people. Ah, you'd be her bodyguard. Or I imagine you would be a witch watch. I get it now. As such, we decided the two of you would live here together in this house, alone. So we're really just pushing this premise, huh? I don't know if I would do it to make Kappa real. I don't like Twitch that much. I'm a casual Twitch fan. I also just, I've seen series where the concept comes up, and I will never be okay with the idea of two people having sex, looking each other in the eyes and saying, don't worry, we're going, like, there will be people who can breathe fire as a result of what we do here. Like, we are doing this explicitly in order to perform eugenics, so that catgirls will exist, or that, dragons will exist in the world again. So far, the visual comedy is okay. Like, it seems like we're aiming for a gag series, but I don't know if the gags are really good right now. They're lightly funny. Also, now I am curious, like, how normie is supernatural stuff going to be in this world? Like, is there still some level of a masquerade, or is it going to be everyone in the world knows about this stuff and it's all fine? Because I think it's been a while since I've read a series that was like, this is set in modern day Japan, but throughout all of history, supernatural stuff has been happening and it's all cool and it's all fine and everyone knows about it. Okay, so she's definitely very into this. And I imagine he's probably not going to be. Okay, this is a strong visual. What? The world's most gutsy burglar? She looks fine, though. Like, for someone who blasted through a glass window. Like, with him, I'm imagining it's fine because he's an ogre. Like, he probably does have some level of supernatural, like, physical strength. Like, he already took off the bandages that those bullies gave him. I'm assuming this is all on the same day, right? The repeated panel gag here is really solid. So, it's looking like she's feeling kind of useless here. He's so nice and so handsome. Also, is that his hair? I mean, I initially thought, yeah, sure, that's supposed to be an anime cowlick. But once they said ogres, like, his dad had the two little spikes, and I kind of assumed they had to be, like, horns, right? But are they not? Like, do they just have hair that looks kind of like horns? I'm glad that we have a protagonist who has the big horny. Like, it isn't just a minor blush sensation. Like, she's got the we never learn eyes. She's absolutely freaking out. Okay, so she didn't, like, plan on this. In the back of my head, I was thinking that she, set this up specifically because she wanted to have her childhood friend as her familiar. But if her parents set it up, like specifically if her mom set it up, that does diffuse the situation a little bit. That does make it feel more like, they're being thrown together and oh no, she wasn't prepared for this. She also does not seem to, know about the mishmash of a tiger and ox situation. Which is actually really dangerous. Like, I'm I would usually assume that he would tell her about that. But if this is going to be a comedy series, we might definitely have a situation where he doesn't tell her. She, like, freaks out over some minor incident and says, I hate you. I'm, breaking up with you. Never see me again. And then he gets reverted and he has to be a Tiger Ox for, like, an episode or two. Okay, let me use magic to fix the broken window. What's magic gonna look like? Okay, is there anything lying around that's kind of important to you? Oh no, it's very precious to me. So I assume she's going to, like, transfer the damage from the window to the mug, which then defeats the purpose because he likes the mug and he doesn't care about the glass. Yeah, there we are. Now, I mean, she clearly is also very airheaded. Like, this does not work if she has the slightest bit of intelligence. Like, if she was able to comprehend the idea of maybe he wouldn't like it if his very precious Fire King mug was destroyed. I think that is actually the dynamic here. Like, I assume a lot of the comedy is going to come from both of them just assuming that the other one knows things. Like, she's been away at witch school for a while, so she probably doesn't know a lot about the real worlds, or, the setting that they're in right now. Meanwhile, he probably doesn't know that much about magic. She does look so smug there. Now, can they fix the mug? I mean, like, is it proportional? Is it just if you care about something, then you can, destroy it to fix something else? Or is it that, in order to fix something that someone cares about, you have to break something that's even more valuable? Because I could see them just doing a chain of breaking incrementally more and more valuable things in order to fix the other things until they get to breaking something that is just owned by someone that no one likes. Like the punk guy's motorcycle or something. Oh, man. The spike in his hair is so prominent, which is not bad in a manga sense. It's bad for me, because before I start each stream, I do make the thumbnail. And the thumbnail I made for this one, due to the way the banner is on Shonen Jump, you don't see the top of his head. And so, in my thumbnail, I kind of just drew a smooth top. And that was fine. Like, that'll work well enough. But now they know that a big part of his design is the spiky Oni horn cowlick, I'm gonna have to put that in the thumbnail, and I don't think I'll be able to make that look good. Oh boy, I mean, I'll show you how it looks right now. 020721. Actually, oh no, you probably can't see this on OBS, can you? Oh no, you can see whatever I'm looking at. So, you'll notice it is very, very obviously shopped, and it's also very, very smooth. And the horn is so prominent is the problem. Like, I'll have to move this down a bit in order to create, like, less head so that I can add more horn. Because if I just, like, draw in more horn here, it's gonna look really bad. I mean, there's no reason why I couldn't just, like, put in a little triangle of hair here. Yeah. I think that'll be fine. Like, it's for the thumbnail. No one's gonna notice it in the thumbnail. Okay, problem solved. I would have made it pierce the end, but, like, due to the space I had, I don't think it would have worked. Like, his head is way too close to the end. It would have to, like, curve out in order to do that. How about one that makes three-dimensional objects as flat as paper? So, it's definitely going to be this kind of series. Like, the breaking the window was a very easy, like, sure, I can imagine her, like, screwing up and flying out of the sky and smashing through the window, and then she has to fix that. But this is clearly a problem that has no real impetus. Like, turning into paper is not something anyone brought up except for her. She was like, hey, I'm going to show you a spell. How about a spell that turns someone into paper? Make someone as flat as paper. Oh, you don't want me to turn something to paper? Okay, I'll turn myself into paper. Also, flip, flap, flat is such a simple incantation. I assume you probably have to, like, be a witch or have magic inside of you. Because if it is just like you say the words and it happens, I imagine a lot of people in the world have just accidentally turned themselves into paper while saying words. Also, this might be the only time I've seen a anime girl in Weekly Shonen Jump point to her like chest and go flats, and clearly she wants this to happen. Okay, this is a look. The way she is drawn is so strong. I mean, it really is just the contrast between the two of them now that is hilarious. Why yourself? Because also, like, clearly this means that she's never done it on herself. Like, this is a spell that you can use on people and also on objects. I assume this is probably a spell you can only use on objects, and she just did it anyways. Hmm. Okay, here we go. On, I was gonna say he's gonna have to fly after her, but A, he probably doesn't know how to use a broom. B, like, he probably doesn't have magic, right? Like, apart from just being able to punch people real hard. Yeah, like, if you're going to rip anything off, Fairly Odd Parents is a strong, like Fairly Odd Parents has a really strong multi-episode gimmick of just your wish goes out of control, or your magic thing goes out of control. And I don't think there's anything in Jump that's really doing that right now. Like, I thought back when Magu-chan started, that's what Magu-chan was going to be. But most of Magu-chan is more just, what if we do some shenanigans? I mean, with Uneris now, there are the occasional, like, just, hey, here's a magic item, and we're going to just spend the entire chapter doing the magic item. But a lot of it tends to just be like, hey, let's just screw around, and then Magu-chan's gonna blow something up at the end. This is such a good gimmick for the first chapter. Because, like, uh, Flat Nico really pops against the, very normally detailed backgrounds. Like, these are not backgrounds that I would say anything about in any other scenario. Like, they're fine, they're good, but they're not all that special. But just by virtue of having that much detail, they really make her pop. Okay, barfing confetti is a pretty good gag. Oh no. Okay, so I guess he's gonna have to pull her out, right? I know this is probably not what the series is gonna do, but I also would like a lot of just, like, shenanigans around town. I do have an extreme fondness for series that are, like kids hanging out around town. Because, like, there's such a sense of, oh, I could also do this to them. Like, this feels like something that I could definitely imagine happening if I were walking around and I was like, hey, there's a really small crack there. Wouldn't it suck if I were 2D and I accidentally fell down there? Also, interesting she can only use the reverse spell right now. Like, is that just once she causes the disaster, all she can do is revert it? Or, like, that can't be the case. Maybe, I guess it must be because she herself is flat now. Like, because the magic is on her, she can't, like, put out any other magic. I mean, how do you fix this? Because, like, he can't just, like, pull the space apart, right? Like, he's tough, but he's not that tough. He could, like road roller his arm to make it flat and then put it in. But I don't know if that's what we're going with. Like, all the real wacky stuff seems to be Nico. I don't know. Like, I think it'd be a really weird resolution if he made his arm flat and then stuck it in there. Oh, it's Momota. Could he help? Like, he didn't really have a gimmick. He just kind of showed up and made some references and then beat his ass. What is this guy? Like, in this panel, it seems like he's actually, kind of chilling out. But, like, it seems like we are building towards a resolution, but I can't imagine what this resolution is. Like, how does he solve this by not fearing his strength? More importantly, why would him being here help with this? Oh, okay, so this is that incident back then. So he was protecting her back then. So, a little messy. Like, I'm not a big fan of the... We've established the characters, and now, right before the resolution, we're going to explain why this is going to be a big deal. Like, all the emotional impact is going to come as a result of the stuff we are establishing moments before the emotional impact. I mean, he has very strong Takahashi energy. I doubt he's going to be the Nendo. I love his dad's hair so much. Like, the little horns are honestly very aesthetic. Whereas Kenta's horn doesn't look that cool. Like, it isn't just that it looks like a standard shonen protagonist cowlick, but also it's just sort of lame. Whereas his dad's, like, hair horns are always very smooth and very, like, I like the pointy so much. I think it's actually that Kenta has the other little bits of hair here. Like, that makes it look too normy. Whereas his dad has the super duper slick hair, and he's got the two little points here. Like, he looks very devilly. He looks like I'm going to make a contract with him. If you want to learn how to use your power properly, you have to train. Your grandfather forced me to learn Ogre Qigong, insisting it had to be passed down the family as tradition. Okay. I mean, I do like this. And I guess that's why we're doing this flashback. It is the reveal of he learned Ogre Qigong, and therefore he's going to use a martial arts move here. And that also does, like, it makes sense as they were both training all this time. She was training to be a witch, he was training how to, responsibly be a strong ogre, and now they're finally back together. Also, they said it's protected by a magic barrier, and normal people can't find it. Does he count as normal? What are ogres? What are ogres? Are they normal? Oh, I promise I'll learn magic spells for healing boo-boos. So, I guess I'll call that the end of the chapter is he uses Ogre Qigong right here to, like, blow a hole in this, maybe? But then he might kill her. I'm still not totally sure what the resolution's gonna be. But I feel like he's going to, like, break his arm doing it, and then she's going to properly fix his arm. And then we'll end with the gag of, oh, by the way, I did have to, explode your favorite stuffed animal at your house in order to do that. Okay. Why? For what purpose? What is this? Like, this image is really cool. But I feel like, I mean, maybe in retrospect it'll be even cooler. But right now, the fact that one of them has no idea what's going on, and the other one is not really trying to punch him, he's just trying to save his friend from behind him. Like, what? Okay. I think that I guess it is supposed to be like he can't use that move unless he is really mad. And so he was building up his anger. Like he was, hyping himself up to punch him in the head, and then he missed intentionally in order to break the wall. But also, like, how did breaking the wall here help her in here? Well, actually, yeah. I guess this is supposed to be like, just metal wiring and then a hole here, and she could have slipped out through here, but no, he didn't make an entrance between here and the side. Like, that wasn't the problem. Like, this entire part seems to be intact. What happens? What? I mean, I guess the implication might be that he broke this part of the wall as well. Yeah, I think I'm just getting hung up on that. Also, I mean, if he sees all of this, then either he's going to have to just be a character. Like, he's gonna have to just be chill with it, or they're gonna have to wipe his mind or something, right? Okay, you know what? That was actually really well set up. That he cares about his hair more than his life. So, now, is this going to just make his hair look bad? Like, is it going to sacrifice the style from his hair, or is it just going to remove the hair? It just removed the hair. I guess we're really just leaving him on this note of, I don't understand what happened. They just used magic to make me bald and fix my wall. Oh, that is so weird. See, I don't think I would take it as it's suspicious for a human being to punch a wall for no reason. Because also, he did see her come out 2D from the wall. Like, I guess the explanation is supposed to be that, you know, that's a good excuse to break the wall, but that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I genuinely don't know. Like, it seems like they're playing it as he doesn't know anything about magic at all, and so he's very confused. But it could also be that, you know, like, it could be that he's just a dumbass. Like, he is a dumbass. Oh, I'm still so puzzled. Over the next year, disaster will befall Nico. It's been prophesized. Okay. Oh, so that's going to be the hook of the series. So she saw that Nico is maybe not necessarily going to die, but yeah, there's some sort of disaster here. And therefore, he has to protect her from the disaster. This does feel like it's going to be very, like, I want to say decisive, but I know there's no reason for that. No one here is psychic. But yeah, so she's going to have to be protected constantly, both from her own screw-ups and also from random incidents. And I imagine, like, we're probably going to, like, if the series takes off, we're probably going to lead into, by the way, there's an evil organization that's hunting witches, and they are the real disaster that was going to befall her. Not sure how into this one I am. Like, it's not that any part of it is bad. And yeah, you're right. It's a little too early to rule this out as a yokai series. It is very possible that this is going to be very yokai. Especially if there are other witches. I could definitely see this having a very, like, other witches show up, and then they also have familiars, in addition to, like, you know, lines of people who are descended from familiars, but they don't serve any witches. Guardian of the Witch had a similar, like, it had a similar-ish vibe of, like, you have the witch, you have a knight who protects her, but it was way more fantasy. Like, that was an actual, like, fantasy world, and there's a lot going into, like, how witches work, and how to, like, you know, like, witches need to be killed, and that's why they have guardians specifically to kill them. And, you know, our main character is the one guardian who wants to protect his witch and actually find how to, like, turn her back into a girl. Like, there's more going on there, but this does feel like it's, you know, it's banking on the same vibe-ish of, you know, girl. That's the thing also. Like, I would say that series actually was kind of distinctive in that the girl was very bratty, but at the same time, she was enjoying the fact that she could be bratty. Like, she wanted to just have a normal life, and so she was indulging in it. Whereas the Guardian is the super serious guy who has to, like, loosen up a bit because he does care about her. Whereas this feels like a much more typical, like, rom-com-y situation with a magic twist. Oh, man. I mean, at the very least, I like the concept of people kept on having sex with their familiars, and eventually we have animal people. Except we don't have animal people yet, we just have ogres. I don't know if the mangaka has the bravery to do animal people. I have a lot of hope for the series, but I don't really feel excited by it. Like, this feels like a series that's going to get canned. Like, looking at the past 3 jumpstarts, uh, like, of them, I mean, I'm going to read the next 2 right after this, and then we'll have, like, a final, you know, better judgment. But as of right now, like, Elusive Samurai feels like it might still hang about because it's very period piecey, but it also feels like it's probably not meant to be extremely long. ITEL C feels very distinct, but I, like I feel like it's really just playing into yandere fans, and I don't know if that's going to have a lot of legs. Whereas Witch Watch feels like a series that has lots of legs. It feels like the kind of thing that could run for 500 chapters, but I don't know if I'm going to like it for 500 chapters. Like, it has the vibe of a long-running Shonen Jump series, but it also, because of that, feels very similar to a lot of other long-running Shonen Jump series. Yeah. Like, I'll talk about the other two as I read them. I'm not gonna, like, dive into that. But for Witch Watch itself, it's a fine chapter. It's just... I feel like... Like, there's some meat on this bone, and I feel like every single scrap of that meat was taken off the bone and minced up and turned into a patty. And that's fine. Like, that makes it very easy to eat. But it means there's not a whole lot left on the bone itself. And I'm curious why I was given a bone in the first place. But yeah, like, Chapter 3, I think, is really what's going to define this. I imagine Chapter 2 is going to be another self-contained shenanigan. And then Chapter 3 is probably going to be the, all right, now let's start to expand the cast. Yeah, it feels like I went to McDonald's and I got a hamburger, and then once I was finished with it, the person who served me ran out from the back and was like, "Oh, sir, sorry, I forgot to give you the bone." And then they handed me a chicken bone, and now I'm like, I don't understand. Why was I given this? That said, I do like Kenta Shinohara. And I wouldn't say that this first chapter of Astro Lost in Space was unbelievably distinctive, but I mean, it also had a really strong hook. That made me go like, okay, I know, like, I might not know exactly what we're doing, but I'm excited to see what happens. And that series did evolve quite a bit, so maybe Witch Watch is going to get a little more distinctive. Oh no, Random, stop. Okay, so, Witch Watch is solidly below, yeah, I'd say it's below Black Clover this week. But it was good enough, as is. Let us move on. I've got to stop acknowledging chats. You're getting too uppity for your own good. Let's move on to I Tell C, Chapter 2. Oh boy, that came out real bad. I mean, I Tell C is all like, those are all English, but at the same time, I can imagine, there's no reason why an AI would look at that and go, okay, that's what you meant to say. All right, so got another murderer. Okay, I like that color page. Like, this does feel very in keeping with the vibe of the series. Actually, I also do like that it is two hard eyes. Like, it isn't just normal eye, hard eye. It is more subtle hard eye here, extremely bright hard eye here. Okay, so are we just solving that right now? Oh no, the serial arsonist in the next town is you. I'm not sure if she should be getting the detective tag. It should be absolute criminal. The arson scenes line up perfectly with the route you take to work. Man, he's really bad at this. Like, I guess if they're like crimes of passion, that makes sense. But it seems really buck wild if he's just going to work and every once in a while he's like, hey, you know what? I'm just gonna set a fire. I'm also curious to see, like, how far in the series are we going to go before they pull the trigger on, number one, a criminal who is just like, yeah, you know what, I do want to move to another country with you. Or B, a criminal who is cool with her, like, doing her thing up to a point because they want to also commit crimes with her. Like, I would really enjoy it if it was, like... If we did get an arc that was just she meets a criminal and the criminal is also extremely yandere and they're like, all right, let's leave. Bye. It also depends, I guess, on like what she defines as love. Like the love she described last chapter was really weird. It was this like, I like them until they go to jail. Like, I like them as long as they're not caught. And once they're caught, that's it. Like, the glimmer of light inside of them is gone and they no longer feel attractive. So, like, she wants to escape with them. So could a criminal just say, hey, once I get taken in, I have a plan to get out. Will you help me get out? If there are two things people remember about Annihilation, I'd say, number one, blowing people up using fire. Number two, That moment when the final boss just showed up in our main character's base and pulled out a real ass gun and just shot him and left. Big respect for the pun, my blight in shining armor. She said it last chapter again, I believe, but it is really good. It is the perfect description for her vibe. Or I suppose, like, the type she's into. Now, also, is Sakon ever going to try and arrest her? Because, yeah, I get it. She is a strong force for, you know, like, solving crimes. But at the same time, she is an evil criminal. Like, she does things that are definitely crimes. She does things that feel undescribable. Like, they are evil. They are menacing. They are terrifying. Now, we are 8 pages in, and these 8 pages have all been, let's talk about the premise of the series as established in Chapter 1. Like, I'm completely fine with the, like, I'd say of these pages, like, the first 5 pages being all essentially, like, you know, recap slash, this is, like, the setup for this chapter. I think that's fine in Chapter 2. I don't remember names. I'm happy to see the names. But if you keep on going, if you just keep on explaining the premise, that's a little much. Okay, so they're both moons then. I don't think I've seen a series where the second chapter is exactly the same as the first. That does remind me of the strong gag from Clerks the Animated Series, in which episode 2 was just a recap episode of episode 1, which was then even more heightened in the original airing by the fact that the first episode never aired. And so they just had a recap episode about an episode that no one had ever seen. But yeah, like, I really like the brothers together as well. Like, so far we haven't really seen them doing stuff together. They've just kind of been around, but like, Sakon looks so good. Okay, so they're not even like Lolita like cosplayers or just people who like the subculture. Like, someone is dressing up these girls like that and then killing them. I mean, I did like the gimmick in the first chapter of her, like, you know, just going to each of the places in order to try and get a feel for what they liked. So maybe, like, maybe there are clues in here. If I give you a hint, can we put this all behind us? Oh boy. So, this is unbelievably blatant. Like, obviously, like, the hint here isn't just this. It is the fact that she also immediately goes to get a taxi. Which is, like, yeah, you go to a taxi, I know this is more common with Ubers than actual taxis, but there's some water in there, or there's, like, you know, like, a complimentary mint or something. So you put your sleeping aids in that, the person gets knocked out, you change them into a Lolita outfit, and then they die. My main thing is just that, like, I understand the concept of the series, but I don't know if I'll be able to respect Sakon if he keeps on fuming about how awful it is that, you know, she is a criminal, using criminal means in order to do all of this, but then he doesn't, like, act against her. Like, fundamentally, they still need her. And that just, like, it doesn't sit right with me. It feels extremely, just like, and yeah, fair. I've got to reset my expectations. Like, I don't think I'll like the series until we get into the status quo, so then we can get out of the status quo. Okay. The people she falls for are criminals. Oh, Dad accepted a criminal into his life and ended up dead because of it. So, I wonder if we are going to get the twist of their mom was actually a criminal. Like, it could be a just, you know, he liked someone else, or, like, he remarried, or, you know, when he was single, he found a girl who was a criminal and, like, fell in love with her. But to be fair, I would like them a lot better if the reason why they're both so chill with Aoi being around is because, like, their mom was a criminal. But yeah, you're right. It's, like, it is extremely othery. It does have this, like, we are humans and they are goblins. And it's strange that this person is, you know, like, they are a half goblin and they use goblin powers in order to fight the goblins. Like, it does have an almost, like, first chapter I thought it was more Hannibal-y, But when you phrase it like that, it does feel more Kamen Rider-y. You need the power of the criminal or to transform into the guise of a criminal and use criminal powers to fight the criminals. I do apologize for repeating the same joke like 5 times in a row. I'm trying to cut down on that. I've noticed that with my editing as of late. So, who's here? I mean, I guess it's probably Aoi, right? Like, she took the taxi to the taxi place, maybe? Yeah, it was her. Now, do they have, like, a a dark agreement to never arrest her? I guess they have to, if she also, like, lives there. Like, I guess they must have an implicit agreement of, you can do whatever criminal actions you want, and we're not going to prosecute you for them. But that is, like, that's also just the most corrupt thing on the planet, right? I mean, I'd believe it. I don't like it. I don't know if I'd do that for, like, the protagonists of a series, but I believe it enough. Was that a cryptic hint? Candy, that's it. Our guy laced Candy with a sleeping aid and offered to his fares on the way back home. Oh yeah, I guess that was also supposed to be a hint for us, the audience. I think that, I mean, this is a trick with just, any mystery series in general. It's real tough to write mysteries that are also really good and really, like, brain teasy. Like, even Case Closed isn't, like, they got some misses. There's a lot of hits in Case Closed, but there's a lot of misses as well. And it is, like, the longest running manga of all time, so it's to be expected. Like, at the very least, I'm glad we're not doing the Sherlock thing of, there are no real hints here, and the main character has to, like, maxi brain out, like, information that we as the audience don't get. Like, I'll always respect a mystery series where the audience gets the information more so than one that doesn't. The downside is that you might get things like this, where it is like, yeah, as soon as the setup happens, it's obvious why it, like, what's going to happen, and then we have to just pretend it's not obvious. This case taught me a lesson of the dangers that come when you try to fight poison with poison. And so, okay, so we are leaving it off there. So this is a two-parter at the very least. The question is, like, what does Aoi want from this? Like, is she going to intentionally let herself be knocked out because she wants to, like, feel the experience of being the victim? Or is she, going to just pretend to pass out and then beat him up? Like, that's the thing. What does she want from this? She's probably going to say, please move away with me, I want to run away with you. But if he says, I would prefer to hang out with you and also kill more people, like, will she say yes? Like, I am excited for Chapter 3. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with, like, by the very nature of this needing to take up another chapter, this can't be as simple as they go and save her, or the taxi man goes, oh no, I hate her so much, I'm gonna drive away with my taxi and get arrested. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I can appreciate the series for, like, having this inherent concept of, like everything is bad. Like, evil stalker vigilante, bad. The fact that the authorities are working with evil stalker vigilante and that she is their main weapon now is also 10 times as bad. The fact that they're not really, like, the fact that it does seem to be cool that they're doing that feels really weird. Like, how Sakon reacts to this, I think, is really going to be it. Like, if she ends up killing this guy, and then, like, Sakon is like, we have to stop her, or if he gets away, like, if there is some fallout from this. That's the thing, like, if it is a consistent, she always wins and she always brings in the perp and it's always okay, then that's, like, I can understand why he would become, like, just cool with it. But that's not the kind of series I really want to read. Yeah, like, it is very much just like, hey, we're doing this super duper evil thing, but it's okay because the good guys are doing it. There's still time for it to be okay, but, like, yeah, right now it's very much on the edge. Like that, and also, it has the same problem as, I was saying it so much last time, Ron Kamanahashi. Like, I like mystery series. I just don't want to read a mediocre mystery series. Like that, and also Jump is full of like not packed full of good stuff, but there's good stuff in Jump. I just don't want to be highlighting something for the sake of like dunking on it constantly. Oh, is there a different layout for Manga Plus? That's the way it's always looked like to me. Wait, what? It You guys saw that, right? Let me just refresh and see if it'll go back to the old one. No, this is legitimately the first time I have ever seen this layout. I'm not sure if I like it more. Like, there's definitely more here. Like, it's a lot easier to see everything. I wish there was a way that I could turn off non-English. Like, my language is set to English. Contents, English, service, language, English. Yeah, like, I don't dislike that there are multiple languages on here. That's awesome. It's just, it feels really hard to navigate this when it's always like, here's the English version, here's the Spanish version. If you just look at it and go like, oh, My Hero Academia, I want to read My Hero Academia, it is a coin flip as to which one you're going to click on. Okay, I guess I'm just using it wrong then. Do I need an account or something? Is there the possibility of getting an account? Ah, I see you got the squishy Luffy up here. I guess there is no account. Top right? Oh, okay, I can turn off. Okay, I see. Sorry, yeah, I didn't see that you could switch on and off both languages. Cool. Okay, never mind. That problem is solved then. Dope, thank you. Alright, so that is, Oh, by the way, I keep on forgetting to announce when new episodes are out. If you are a fan of the We Watch 100 Isekai podcast, as you probably should be, episode 8 came out on Friday. It's the Hack Sign episode if you like Hack Sign. Oh yeah, Don't Blush Sekime-san. I guess I could probably check that out. But first, let me rank ITEL C. ITEL C below Witch Watch. Yeah, this is a real rough one. Like this, ITEL C is the one I'm closest to dropping of the 3 new ones, just by virtue of being uncomfortable. Yeah. So, Hack Sign is, I believe, episode 7? And we have, I think, 17 recorded, so we're probably going to have to do a couple of, like, double releases to get up to just being a month ahead or so. As soon as I do the timestamps for them, I'll put out a couple. Because, yeah, right now we are... Let me give you a quick sneak peek. Yeah, we have 16 episodes ready. Hack Sign is number 8. So actually, we're halfway through all of them. Or all of the ones we have pre-recorded. We still have to do 84 more. It's a long road. Also, that would explain why there are 3 chapters out right now. Because, yeah, they did the same thing with Hokkaido Gals. Oh no, it'll neither worsen nor enrich your day. You know what? Maybe I'll just continue with the regular scheduled programming. Because it's already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more series. Yeah, if anyone desperately wants me to read Don't Blush later on, maybe. But if it's not a must, then I guess we'll just move on to... The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 3. I have not read a single chapter today where the first page has had the name of the chapter on it. Like, Black Clover didn't do it. None of the jumpstarts have done it. It feels really weird. Lycopene is still around? What happened? It's on Jump Plus. Are mangaka just getting away from the title drop on the first page? I like the title drop on the first page. Alright, so we are of course playing Keep Away from the Oni being our main character's uncle, who is also extremely beefy and strong. Not gonna lie, did not expect that in chapter 2. Like, he definitely seemed like the, weaselly manipulative sort of enemy. So to have him Hulk out and then destroy a tree with one arm was pretty wild. The Elusive Samurai, Chapter 3, Revenge, 1333. I really like this page. Like, this, I think, really sums up the appeal of the series. You got the big old kitties, you got the flowers in his hair, he's looking so chill, even though he's in imminent danger, but he's not really. Like, I like this vibe. I do just like the kitties. The kitties are really good. Yusei Matsui needs to do more animals. And I suppose this is also a way for us to test out the capabilities of these other kids. Like, our main character, it has, the hyper elusiveness, but none of the others have really been characterized as being good at anything. They've just been around and kids. Oh boy, that was a bad one. You shouldn't have said that. Oh, I can't believe we're actually seeing it. Also, that is a hard cut to a flashback. That is also so brutal. Like, specifically just beating the tar out of him with his bare hands. That plus the shadow here with the Oni, like, the direction so far has been really fantastic. They've done a good job of making his uncle seem completely and utterly vile in multiple ways. Like, there is the, weird game master energy he's got. Then there's the fact that he's the scum of the earth. Then there's the being buff enough to destroy a tree with one arm. I think that's also it. It's the fact that we know he's strong. Like, we know he probably could have killed him without, a moment's notice. Or he could have killed him and then sold out, given the body to the enemy soldiers. Like, there was no reason why he needed to do it like this. It is cruel for the sake of being cruel. I'm excited to see how this is going to play out because, the premise of the series that has been sold in the first two chapters has been it's going to be really cool to see Tokiyuki, dodging constantly. Like, that it's going to be cool to have fights where the main character mostly doesn't go in for blows until, the very end, presumably. Not gonna lie, I much preferred when Ask the Devil looked like this as opposed to the way it looks currently. Not that it sucks right now, just that, we kind of dropped the entire silhouettes. The silhouettes is just not real. It's like in One Piece when a character will be introduced or, hinted at, and we'll see the silhouette, and that is not what the character looks like. Except if we saw it, over, consistently over and over again. Like, if up until we saw Kaido for the first time, we kept on seeing Kaido's shadow, and it was always, a big titty, a strong lady with one big arm. And then we see Kaido, and it's like, this doesn't look like that at all. And we focused on it so much. God, this face. Every time Yorishige says anything, it feels like he's pitching the series to me. I think that's why I specifically phrase it like that every time. Like, it isn't just, you should believe in him. It is just, watch closely to see which of them truly has the power to adapt to these turbulent times. It feels like every time he is pitching, hey, this series takes place in 1333, featuring these historical characters. Let's see who can write their name in history. I do like that whenever we see him having fun, it isn't like a big, shonen grin or anything. It's always the blush. It's always the adrenaline high. It never makes him look badass. It always makes him look cute. I think that's actually a really cool dynamic to give him, because it makes him feel more like this is in his nature. He is someone who not only is good at being elusive and dodging, but it is, in his blood. He is made to dodge. I mean, last chapter, he did make an entire board game, so... Yeah. I think that's also just a really good, how do I put this? For historical fiction, I think I do like historical fiction that is more, that goes deeper with the metaphors than historical fiction that is drier. Seeing, the extreme strength that everyone has, seeing, the powerful visual changes, it hypes up the characters in a way that I really like. I think Assassination Classroom is really good with that. With the Reaper. I won't say much about him, because it's such a good arc. But I really appreciate how much, like, when we see the Reaper, how supernatural he feels, and how the series does repeatedly say, no, this is not supernatural. Like, he's not turning invisible, he's not, killing people instantaneously. That is all, like, everything you are seeing is hyperbole. It is the way it feels like to be fighting him. Uh, for those of you who don't know, I did lose that entire volume of Assassination Classroom. It is the only volume that is not on the full Thermite Kitty experience available down below, unless you're watching this live, in which case I'm pointing to nothing. Now, do we need a recap of Chapter 1? Again, I keep on saying it, but this feels like he is pitching the series to me. It feels like this is the big. I mean, in chapter 2, that makes sense. In chapter 3, I feel like you gotta accept that everyone's read either chapter 1 or chapter 2. You can't keep doing this. I'd say it's very common for chapter 2 of most series, where, like, within the first little bit, they'll say, like, hey, I'm this girl, I have a best friend, we live with an alien. But, like, chapter 3 feels excessive to me. Also, in all 3 chapters, we have seen these kids, but I don't know what their deal is. I mean, Shizuku, I get it. Like, Shizuku is, like, I don't think she's actually his daughter, but, like, she's also, like, a priestess. With the other 2, like, we haven't really seen what their gimmicks are apart from they can fight. Now, re-enter the fray. You don't need to protect him. Trust in his ability to dodge. I actually really do like that as a dynamic, not just the, like, how do I put this? I was describing it before as the fights are going to be cool because the main character doesn't attack. But if we are going to make it more of a tactical series, then I do like the idea of it being the main character is the most important piece, but it can't attack. Like, it is, like, that makes it feel a little more chess-like. If it is all about utilizing everyone else on the field and just, having our main character dodge a lot. Slash, wear down the enemy. If even the most formidable warrior were to continuously run and hide from this child, death would eventually catch him in his jaws. So, now that you are thinking of this, oh no, I downloaded the file. Whoops. Now that he is having this thought, is he going to change his strategy? Okay. God, they're actually getting in some strong hits. All right, what does he do? Like, is he going in for the killing blow? Severing this head is not enough, but it will at least make a nice souvenir along the road to death. Okay, here we go. Ah, god damn. Also, like, having it be the Oni head is a really good way to censor it, quote unquote. Like, this is an uncensored decapitation. But by having it be the Oni head, it does make it feel less like he's chopping off a human being's head. The framing of this page is so good. Like, the way the slash swoops down from the flashback into the strike, and then your eyes, like, easily follow the strike down to the slow fade away. Oh, it's beautiful. And yeah, I do like that. Like, it does feel very atypical. It does immediately make me go, like, this doesn't feel like every other battle shonen I've ever seen. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't even think about it. Like, most people would aim for him just because he is, like, the last living member of this house, or, the last, like, prominent member. But also, like, presumably, the more, like, popular he becomes, the more people will want his head specifically. I will fight, and someday I will return to Kamakura, and then I will defeat the Ashikaga. Also, so that wasn't a metaphor. So he did literally throw his katana into the woods. Why? It'll be fine. This boy would go on to shake the land and grow in this new world. Yeah, I can accept it. It feels a little weird, but yeah, like the start of chapter 1 did seem like, he was a bit older, he knew his friends a bit more. But at the same time, I'm not sure how cool I am with time skipping past that. Like, I feel like this is a good point for us to grow attached to these characters. Like, while our main character is still, he still has the mentality of a young lord. He hasn't, like, survived on his own in the woods, or, like, he's not surviving alone, but he hasn't had to survive with, very little. Like, this feels like prime bonding time that we're probably not going to see. I'm not, like, super upset about it. It's just, I don't know. It feels like Yusei Matsui doesn't trust the audience to be into this by now. Like, it feels like he's being extremely cautious, which is fine. Like, we haven't had like historical fiction, like a serious historical fiction series in Jump in quite a while. This is a bit of a gamble, but I think the kid gloves have to come off at least like by next chapter, right? Like, this is chapter 3. Uh, I won't make I won't make a pronouncement here, but I will make a quick poll to see if people want me to continue to do this on the live stream or if I should move it into the pre-recordeds. Yeah, you raise good points. The only thing is that if the kids don't last very long, then it's also going to be pretty rough to like maintain extended interest in the series. Like, our main character is fine, but if he's around, a bunch of disposable characters, it's not going to be that exciting. Like, I want to fear the danger. And, like, the series is already set up that I'm not going to really worry about it. Like, I'm not going to worry about him dying specifically because he has this godlike, fleet-footedness. So the person that I should be, like, the people I should be afraid of dying should be his friends. And if we don't, like, build up his friends as being particularly interesting, then it kind of defeats the purpose, right? Oh no, I only have temporary admin rights. But yeah, I'll paste this in Jump. I'll also put it on the, I'll put it down below on YouTube. Everyone can put in their idea of what they want. Like, it really is just the difference of, do you want other people to be talking about the series while I read it, or do you want me to just kind of do it faster? That is, in fact, the Elusive Samurai. Let us move on to Undead Unluck, Chapter 50. It's up to you now. Oh, finally, a chapter title. Sorry, I was considering ranking the chapter titles, but I feel like that's a little too much, and also, I don't have an easy way of, like, copying and pasting chapter titles. And that feels like, I feel like the wins I would get from that would not outweigh the extreme losses of all the time and mental energy spent trying to figure out if this title is better than another title. I mean, April 1st is coming up. I can make it work. Okay, so Andy and Fuka have powered up, they reconciled with Victor, and a thwarted Unseen assassination attempt. So, they have one more thing. I guess it is just capturing Autumn successfully. Like, that would make sense as a clear breaking point. Last week, I think we established that Autumn is the only one that they need to capture alive. With the other three, with the other groups and the other three Uma, they can just be killed. That's actually what the quest intends for. So I could see this being the final, like, in every timeline, they don't, underkills these, kills Uma Autumn, and because of that, a bad thing happens. I mean, Uma Revolution seems like it is going to literally just be the Earth flies into the sun. Also, listen, I have very little mental energy. I expend most of it reading while talking simultaneously. I don't have much else left for using my hands. Ah, it's got sort of a flat mohawk situation going on now. There's a lot of death in Undead Unluck. Like, when I was talking about the the Andy versus Victor fight, I did mention, like, hey, it's crazy that they can just, do all this damage and kill so many people, considering that this is a Mindscape battle, and these people aren't real, and this, all these buildings aren't real. But to be fair, in the series itself, there's a lot of killing and a lot of annihilation of, of buildings and stuff. It's not like they couldn't have done that actually in the middle of Japan. Oh yeah, the eyes are very Promised Neverland Demon. Oh. Okay, so it is like that's so cool. Like, sorry, it just clicked that this is like a carapace that can open and close. That's so cool. Hmm. Okay, so is he going to do, like, is he going to add twists to this attack? I'm not sure if that's different than his usual launch the katana out of his arm move. Okay, yeah, if it's coated in hardened blood, that would make sense. Like, that would be an addition, as opposed to his usual, like, propelling using blood attack. Oh, it's repairing itself. If only we had unrepair. Ah. Oh, I wonder if the two of them are going to like do like not a simultaneous attack, but if they're both going to hold the katana at the same time. Because yeah, it seems like Unrepair does have to inflict unrepairable wounds. Like he can't passively use his ability as someone else inflicts wounds in order to make those wounds unrepairable. Okay. Come on, Anno, give us that final big info dump. Like, it is wild that, like, Ano-un is the most info dumpy character in the whole series, and I love every single time we hear them speak. Okay, I'm about to draw out the strongest artifact I know. What is Bunny? Like, these are definitely stretchy limbs, right? But what are these? These ain't the arms. The arms are down here. What is Bunny? Oh! So Ano-un is a drawing. Oh, man. Okay, so that definitely takes a lot of the wind out of my, negators at a certain level, like transform and their hair goes white theory. But this is so cool, because that also does explain the label here of Ano-un. Like, it is an absolute, this isn't me. People can't interact with me, so I will create a design, like a designed character who will then act on my behalf. Because also, like, this drawing does have the ability of, like, this drawing has the ability to draw things itself. Like, it has the artifacts, like the G pen. It is also a negator. Or, I mean, to be fair, it might not be a negator. It might be that Ano-un is also, or not Ano-un. Especially with the fact that, like, this is Ano-un. I should be using the mangaka's actual name that I don't remember. But yeah, if they are two separate characters, then it is possible that, like, he's been around this whole time in the background, but we can't see him, obviously, because, their negator ability. Like, they could be selectively, using their ability on Ano-un, the character, in order to make them invisible. Because that also means that, like, these wounds might not matter. Because this is a drawing. Yeah, I'm gonna say Akira. I legitimately just forgot Akira's name. And so I've been, like, relying on the name Ano-un, but now that they are two separate things, I gotta actually remember the name Akira. Yeah, like, this is a very gender-neutral design. Oh, that is tragic, though. So Akira's mom did die before, like, the mangaka could meet her. I actually really like that, too, because, like, despite knowing everything about this loop, like, there's still so much that Akira doesn't know. And they aren't, like, this omniscient character that knows absolutely everything. Like, this was too late, which also means that, like, everything that has happened up to this point in this arc could have been too late. Like, this is fundamentally a human being just trying to change fates. Oh, but Mom, can you see? That guy's Andy. He's undead. He may look scary, but he's capable of anything if it's Fuko. The girl there is Fuko. She's had a hard life due to her unluck ability. But ever since she met Andy, she's been fighting with courage. And the small one there is Rip. He's the person I want to... Oh, like, we do know Rip was Akira's favorite character. And, like, Rip might still be Akira's favorite character. We haven't really seen anything... we haven't seen very much of Rip. But that is so big. He's the person I want to tell you about. He's really kind and cool, but he's suppressed it ever since losing someone dear to him. He'll be even cooler once he's an adult. That's so cool. Like, this is such a, like, this isn't the word of God. That's the thing that really freaks me out. Like, this is a subjective view of the characters, and from Akira's subjective view, or like slash Anuun's subjective view of these people, like, Rip is up there. Like, these are the big three. Huh. And they kept on saying, like, Rip has been repeatedly saying, like, I'm just a kid. Don't ask that much of me. I kind of thought that they were going to create some sort of artifact that would just allow them to like Pokeball Autumn, but are they just going to make Rip an adult again? Yeah. Oh man. That means we could have like. I think this is also like if the mangaka never wants to show us Akira, like outside of flashbacks, they could do that. Like by virtue of having this, this avatar that can act on their behalf. All right, age Rip 15 years. He's going back to his prime. Oh my, that is definitely his prime. Oh, he's just busting out of these clothes. Also, it does look like, oh boy, what was that called again? It wasn't Soul Calibur, right? It was Blade Runner. Blade Runner does seem like it does grow with the design. I guess it would have to, right? Because he was using Blade Runner in both, like, when he was de-aged and also now. So I guess it would make sense they would, like, grow on him. I was wondering if it was, like, if they had to, like, take it to someone who could, like, mechanically make it bigger or smaller. My body doesn't like the fact that I like Bunny. Like, everything about Bunny makes me go, like, no, this should be a character I hate. But I kind of like Bunny. Bunny's good. Also, how does that work? Like, yeah, they reverted him in time in order to heal him. But, like, bringing him forward isn't, like, putting the wounds back on him. I mean, as you said, it's an artifact. It doesn't have to follow logic. Ah. And so this is also his sensitivity coming out. Like, his first act is not, haha, sucker, I guess I'll just use this to win. His immediate act is to presumably blast over and say, like, what are you doing? So it takes time out of time you manipulated and makes you age 10 times that. Ah. He's so soft and squishy inside. Don't worry, I'm just going back to being alone again. In order to capture Autumn Rip, your power is necessary. I'm glad I managed to see and talk to you. Yeah, because, I mean, we could still have the double twist of Akira is going to die as a result of this. Like, whatever happens to Anuun happens to Akira. But I think what they're saying right now is, like, Akira created Anuun in order to communicate, and now Anuun really will die. Akira is not going to die, but Akira is going to be, impossible to interact with. Yeah, you're right. What is going on with Feng, then? To be fair, how did they, like, they said, this is the artifact that Feng used to heal me. I don't remember if we actually saw this artifact being used at all. I don't think we did. So it's possible they just, like, kidnapped someone and then forced them to use the artifact. The rest is up to you now, my cast of cool heroes. Oh, and the G-Pen broke, too! So, no more, like, looking into the future. If they end up having to get into the arc and, if they have to go to another loop, they can't take the G-Pen with them in order to quickly figure out, like, what's going on and to see the future. Soul Calibur is left, though. Huh. I wonder what that means for the G-Pen. Like, is it that, like, did both of these age, like, 150 years, and it's just that Soul Calibur is, like, it's made out of marble or something, or, like, it just wouldn't really change with age? Autumn's really kind of getting shafted in this arc. Like, I'm fine with it. I would much rather focus on the human characters. But man, the coolest thing that Autumn has done has not been Autumn itself. It has been Anuun making one of Autumn's claws in order to do the whole Andy book thing. Apart from that, Autumn's just kind of been in the background just eating humans. Like, nothing it itself has done has been very interesting. I think that's actually really cool that the mangaka has that much faith in the writing. That they can go, like, yeah, there's going to be a big kaiju battle, but it's not about the kaiju, and no one is going to be upset that we're not focusing on the kaiju. Like, it wasn't until this shot that I was like, oh yeah, right. Like, Autumn is kind of getting shafted. But oh my gosh. Like, I also appreciate the ballsiness of doing the ultimate tell don't show. Like, the only reason I care about Rip is because of Ano-un saying repeatedly, or like Ano-un and Akira saying repeatedly, I really like Rip. Rip is my favorite character. It's like if I were watching Naruto and not not Kishimoto, but someone else in series kept on saying, "Yo, I really love Shikamaru. Listen, Shikamaru's gonna be really cool." Except that wouldn't work. Like, I can't believe how well Undead Unluck is using the concept of a character who is a mangaka who just knows everything about the series. It feels like something that should, by all accounts, be awful. But the execution is perfect. Like, there's really nothing else I can add to it. It is just perfectly executed and makes me so happy. Ah, Undead Unluck is actually good manga. Okay, so easy top, right? Like, is there anything else that really holds up to that? Oh no, I forgot to rank the Elusive Samurai. Whoops. Kind of got sidetracked with manga plus. Elusive Samurai, I think, was better than Witch Watch and ITLZ, but I wouldn't put it above Black Clover yet. Like, it still very much feels like it's in the I'm gonna show you why the series is gonna be good, guys role. Whereas, like, Black Clover, just solid chapter. Undead Unluck, fantastic chapter. Like, they feel like now I kind of want to do the bit of just never including the Elusive Samurai on the rankings because it is invisible. It eludes ranking altogether. I mean, depending on how the series goes, it might elude the reactions altogether as well. The Elusive Samurai might be so skilled that I can't perceive it anymore, and therefore it is no longer going to be on the channel. Ah, I like the idea of it being unranked. It's really good. Ah, I mean, to be fair, we also sorry, this feels like a non sequitur, but like Bunny could be unbound. I could also see Bunny being unbelievable. Like, we could do the bait and switch of you thought that it was Billy, but it was actually Bunny all along. Oh no. Unbunny is a really bad pun. I hate it. I really hate it. Okay, so we got it. We are good to continue moving on. As always, just wanted to check and make sure I'm still recording. Listen, these are adult thighs now. All right, so next we actually have Dr. Stone, chapter 184. Of course, we don't get a title name. We don't get to know what this chapter is called. By the way, I do have a rule. Yeah, I've never really had to invoke it until very recently. But if I don't like the title, like the banner of Jump at all, I can replace it with a color image of another series. The problem is, most of the time when I don't like the title cover of Jump, there's also like 3 color images, and 2 of them are for series I don't read, and one of them is like super duper horizontal, or sorry, super duper vertical. But at some point, I'm gonna like, there's going to be a black and white illustration that is so good that I'm going to give up and just use it as the thumbnail. So for what? Why? Why, Chelsea? The pebbles separated all on their own. Oh no, I don't like Sage Senku. Why did we get Sage Senku? For what purpose? What was this? But okay, that's actually a really cool demonstration. Uh, I will agree, Chelsea, that was actually funsies. Some say that from the perspective of our awe-inspiring planet, humanity is like a nasty little parasite. But I do like the way Kawaku's taking it. Like, it's not that I mean, you can like, this doesn't negate the idea of humanity could be parasites, but it is also like humanity's lasted this long. Like, if we are subject to the whims of the earth, if we are just, like, struggling to survive, then we're still surviving. Like, that's still something to be proud of. Okay, time to build Super Alloy City. Are we doing it? Are we making the city? We don't have anyone to live in it. Dr. Stone, Z equals 184, Fort Medusa. Okay. Okay. That's a lot of construction. How long did they take to do this? Yeah, Kaku's always had, like, it is technically a rope bra, but it really is, like, a combo bra slash, like, belt. Like, it kind of just sort of secures the entire thing she's wearing. Like, her entire outfit feels like it's a it's not a bad look. It is a good look. But it does seem like it would be very inconvenient, especially if it gets windy. Like, the only reason that hasn't been a problem is, I guess, just the sheer nature of Dr. Stone physics. The sheer power of Boichi going, I have to make this work because I want to draw this outfit, and I definitely don't want to draw underwear. Uh, if it gets officially translated, I will check out the Ace novel. Or, like, the Ace manga. I am excited for it. Like, I'm curious. And I'm okay with spin-offs. I'm a little worried that, like, I know he's not writing the novel. I know it is just an adaptation, but I feel like in the background we're gonna see, like, Senku making the portal and opening it up and going like, "Hey, come in the portal." But yeah, like, I'll probably check it out once it's all done. I know it's coming out in the One Piece magazine in Japanese, and it's probably getting tankobons after that. And knowing the way Viz is right now, like, they're very scared of picking up new series. I feel like they're probably not going to start putting it out until the whole thing is done. But once it comes out officially, I will definitely react to it. Even if I have to, like, make it like, Discord exclusive. Okay, so, like, this was all done with the idea that, yeah, we know they're coming after us. We may as well, like, have it be on our turf. This also feels like a really nice reversal of, I was gonna say, the Kingdom of Might battle, but it really is a reversal of both fights they've had up to this point. Like, the two big civilization battles. They've been, like, the tiny team going up against the enemy with their big fortress and their, like, constructed area. Whereas this is the first time where the enemy is coming to them and they get to be in the defensive position. Ah. I mean, it's a big gamble, but it is a necessary one. Like, they spent a full year building the Perseus. They can't just spend another year building it again with fewer people. Because, like, they also took, it took, like, the entire population of, the, I guess it is the Kingdom of Science, like the original homeland of the Kingdom of Science, to make that thing. I'm a little scared of reading Boichi's How to Manga book. I don't know if I want Boichi. I'm already worried with Boichi be tune for you. I don't know if I want Boichi to teach me how to tune for me. Okay, get hype. Man, these are some big schnozzes. Like, I don't think about Dr. Stone doing the big, like, Americans have giant noses thing. But more often than not, the Americans do have at least bigger noses than the Japanese people. Like, that is the primary way to tell who is American, who isn't. Oh yeah, this guy just looks like he's from the ICP. Okay, I only hope lies in these things. The Medusa machine gun. So, I guess they're gonna just, like, if they can't make a battery, are they going to just, like, toss handfuls of them out and scream, 500 meters, 1 second? Yeah. Okay, so they need fresh diamonds. So they are, like, getting diamonds from here and shaving them down. But they still can't do that, though, right? Like, they don't have the means to shave them down precisely the way they need to. They also don't have a way of opening up the Medusas and then putting the diamond in and then closing it back up again. Like, none of that is within their capabilities. And we still don't have an answer for that. Like, we did leave off last chapter on the question of, like, how is this going to work out? I think these traps are working on the idea that this like this fight is not going to take a very long time. There is the like oh, that's the thing really. Like 50 meters is also way too small. Like they should be going for bigger like blasts. Like they should want to take out all of their enemies in one go. Because they don't have like even if they can make like more Medusas that properly work, they can only do like, one or two, right? Like they don't have the time to mass produce the batteries. And if that's the case, then they need to be able to uh like use each one to the highest advantage. Like small blasts should be reserved for when they, have like a factory that can reactivate the Medusas. Stanley's group does know about the Medusas. At the very least, they've seen one of them. Like when the Kingdom of Science, or when this faction was escaping, they put out their last remaining Medusa that didn't work as a bluff, as a like, we know how to turn people to stone. We'll use this thing and turn you to stone. They don't know about the giant pile though, but they might be able to recognize them on sight. Oh no! Oh, it's been a while since we've seen sad Kaseki. Like sad, droopy, not buff Kaseki. I love that with Kaseki and Chrome. Like, they are using tools to try and gently open up the Medusas. But then Kohaku's just smashing one. And she's got such a look on her face. Like, this looks like an Adventure Time reaction. She's kind of gave it a shot. I mean, fair. They have a ton. And to be fair, like I thought of this as being a comedic look, and it is. But it probably is also her using her incredible vision to find the point where it's probably not going to break. Ah, okay, so this is a metaphor. This is now, if this worked, we would see this. Oh, that gives me a bright idea. Since there's only one Medusa, I can just, oh no! Oh no, Taiju, that's a really bad idea! They're going to shoot you in the head. I mean, to be fair, this is Taiju. He might be able to take a machine gun bullet to the head. But that's still a bad plan. I mean, yeah, they can bring him back. Oh. Okay, so, oh, this is good, because, like, Chrome previously had the idea of, like, the automatic unpetrification device. And so I assume that's what he's going to bring up here. Like, why don't we just set it to petrify everything in the area? Like, why don't we just try and petrify, the entire, like, absolutely everything, and then we can just have we can either like have the device set up if he can like brain it out in time, or like they could just have someone leave and then come back later. I mean, if they want to make 100% certain that no members of the enemy faction would still be around, they could set it to, take out the entire continent and then send out a radio message and say, hey guys, you're gonna have to come to South America. Listen. No, I take that one back. That's a really dumb idea. I think he's going to say we all get petrified, but I've been working on this idea for the automatic unpetrification device. We'll just set those up, and then we'll sit around, let ourselves get petrified. It'll break us out. This shot is so wild. Like the visual of this blast with Suika just like watching from a distance. Okay, so they are going with one of us just has to keep hidden really far away. This isn't gonna work though. I feel like we're definitely going for they will send Suika out to go, to hide far away. The rest of them will still be here, but it's not going to work. Like, the Americans will stop Suika as she's leaving, but Chrome will have already built, he'll already have built the, self-depetrification device, and he'll use that to save himself. Like, Dr. Stone is a master of laying out the battle plan and then saying this is the way we're going to do it, and then they actually do it like that. But there's usually a twist or two in there, and I feel like this is way too simple. Like, also because this feels like a very iconic panel. Like the contrast of the enormous explosion and tiny little Suika here waiting here and hoping that her friends are going to be okay. Like, there's no way that Boichi would draw this here if he was going to legitimately do it later. Like, you could do multiple two-page spreads of Suika seeing this and, praying that none of her friends, like, fall over and shatter. I'm going to bet on, because I believe the first time we really heard Chrome talk about it was when they're in the rainforest. And Chrome was like, yeah, what if we took this, the army ant spray, and we set up something to automatically spray it? I think that he's probably been working on that, and he'll have that set up, but he's never tried it. And so Suika's going to escape. Chrome's going to set it up just in case, and then he will crack himself out of stone. Meanwhile, okay, here's the big brain one. I think Stanley is going to also, like, when the blast happens, he's going to, like, maybe he'll do the Senku move of literally just having, like, a little bottle of the depetrification juice. They would have the recipe at this point, like, if they've been in contact with the other Americans. So he could have some of the juice. He'd just do the, toss it in the air, turn to stone, let it smash on his head. And then we could have a fight between, or not a fight necessarily, but we could have a final showdown between Chrome and, yeah, I think I would leave it as a one-on-one. Suika's still out here somewhere. And then Chrome has to somehow find a way to take down Stanley. Because we haven't had a lot of good Chrome focus. And I think this would be a really cool way to give him the highlight in this arc. Like, after all this buildup of him, like, thinking about stuff and genuinely being a good scientist, but not really being able to show that off. Okay. The plan's gonna fall to pieces if the designated Medusa holder gets shot before giving the commands. I mean, couldn't they just stay in, like, not a building necessarily, but like a little tent or something? Okay. Up in our watchtower, we've got our working Medusa and a speaker. So yeah, like, the moment they see him, they just need to blanket blast the entire area. That's a really cool way of putting it. The nasty calamity that almost wiped out humanity is now our own personal guardian deity. So I kind of already said everything, like all my big guesses, so I'm not going to draw it out. A good chapter. Like, strong arts, strong, like, going through everything. I just hope we really don't, like, that we don't draw out the combats too much then. Like, I'm sure this isn't going to go quite as planned, but I don't want it to be, like, a whole lot of hand-to-hand combat or stuff. Like, Boichi's... we've seen combat in Dr. Stone. It's not that great. And I do think this does create a much more interesting, like, situation of Stanley has the power to basically instantly kill anyone he sees. Like, with the power of a gun, because guns are actually scary now. Meanwhile, they have the, like, whoever is in the watchtower has the ability to blast everyone and turn everyone to stone. But then they, like, it's completely possible that the Americans will find a way to get around it. It really depends on, like, where they're at with that. Like, does Stanley's group have the petrification formula? Like, they haven't really had time to put it together. They would have been able to, like, radio in and learn what it is, but would they have had the presence of mind to, like, make, like, strong acid that can break through their stone? Oh, you're right. Yeah, all he would have to do is say 1 meter 1 seconds, and that's it. Like, a very small amount. They could, I guess, like, the main thing is I don't think Zeno would want to turn himself to stone. So I don't think he would, like, intentionally set it off before the rest of the crew gets there. I think he would, like, set it off on a small scale just to wear out the battery. But you are right. Like, it would also make sense for him to just, like, turn everyone to stone and have them clean it up later. They know the method, but I don't know if they have the formula. Like, I don't know if Zeno is the kind of person who would be willing to have himself turn into stone and just believe that everyone else is going to break him out. Like, he seems way more hands-on. He seems like the kind of person who wouldn't trust enough in everyone else in order to do that. Like, he trusts in Stanley, but that's about it. And yeah, I would agree. Like, this chapter is so packed with dialogue, and Dr. Stone in general is very, very packed with just words. But I never look at it and go like, oh, this is overwhelming. This is like I'm reading, a prose book. Yeah, like, I like Kenta enough as a mangaka, but that first chapter of Witch Watch does feel just very boilerplate manga. Whereas Dr. Stone, like, even when it has its faults, it does not feel boilerplate at all. I do really like the idea of Kenpachi, like, with a boken trying to, like, smash the watermelon. Meanwhile, Suika is doing the sonic spin dash all over the place and trying to knock him out. That's a final fight I'd be very into. Because I also think, like, having the final fight be Stanley versus someone else, I think is too much. Like, I think Stanley's too dangerous. Whereas if Stanley did get petrified, but someone else, had the presence of mind to break themselves out of stone, or if Stanley has like a tiny bit of resurrection juice and he throws it at someone right before the impact, because he is a sniper, so it could be a like his throwing arm is so good that he has planned out the arc of it's going to fly through the air and they're going to turn to stone, and by the time it drops on the person, they'll have already been stone. Like I would really like it to just not be Senku. Like every time we have done the tease of, guess what, guys, Senku's not going to be in this one. He's been in that one. Unless it has been a literal, like, geographically, there's no way that Senku could be here. Like, when Chrome was escaping Tsukasa's empire. I would be very down for, like, I don't feel like it's going to happen, but I really want it to happen. I would be so happy if we got the big showdown and Senku was turned to stone. Yeah, Chrome versus Stanley would be so cool because they're both like the second in commands. And Chrome is, Chrome would get to show off all of his science knowledge once more. Like, he's so scrappy. That's the thing I really like about him. He's got that scrappiness to him, while at the same time he is a science user as opposed, or, he is a scientist. The only question would be like, how would he be able to take out Stanley at all, assuming that they do burn out the Medusa? But all right, that is Dr. Stone. Fantastic chapter. Not as good as Undead Unluck, but right near there. And the upcoming arc might actually be number one. Like, depending on, what moments we get from it. Okay, 2 more to go. Let's move swiftly on to My Hero Academia. I need the chapter title every time. I mean, we've had like 2 chapter titles this week. It's fine. I'll learn to live with it. The existence of the Nomu was the final name of the coffin. Me? Perfect Nomu for this expression. Oh no. Oh no. I can feel the crosshairs on me. But oh boy, this does feel like it is going to be the, like, like a parallel to the Twice chapter. I know I've been saying it over and over again, and that's why I'm guessing that right now. But I feel like we're gonna get the same, like, they're gangsters on the streets using their quirks and they're fighting each other, and then the mysterious new villain shows up and starts punching people in the face. Though I guess in this case it would probably be like heroes show up and try to beat the villains, but then other people go like, "Are you like, get out of here, you fascist?" Hmm. Okay. Yeah, rumors of Nomu sightings had been spreading nationwide, and for a while time people weren't sure what to believe. Okay. I mean, Nomu are the boogeyman that people with quirks originally were back in the day. Like, it seems like society has acclimated to the concept of, some people are just going to have animal heads. Some people are going to be, actual walking manga. Like, that's fine. But the concept of the Nomu, like the fact that they are a mix of human parts altogether, but they're so, like, not quite human. Like, I can see that really driving a wedge in society. I'd say Nomu are kind of like yokai, but it wouldn't make My Hero Academia a yokai series because Nomu don't come up that often, honestly. Like, I'm sure you could try to ratio it out and tell me that, they do come up in, like, 1/3 of every single arc, but they don't feel like that. Like, they do feel special every time they show up. Oh, I'm really glad we have an author's note for that one. This also actually, this feels so, like, Western comic booky as opposed to being very manga-y. It feels like Stan Lee himself is saying, like, hey, I don't want to do a Stan Lee impression. Hey, true believers, did you remember Volume 23? This is the guy who Bakugo told to get a job, loser. Looks like this loser's still broke. Oh, okay. Is the focus here not going to be, like, the villains running amok, but instead, like, untrained non-heroes using support items to, with dangerous consequences? Hmm. Should I recognize him? I do see him. I'm seeing him. Are you gonna make a Sakamoto reference? Is this supposed to be My Hero Sakamoto? Homie, you're gonna have to shoot me. This does not look like Sakamoto at all. He's wearing an apron, that's really it. No part of this design looks like Sakamoto.
Now, I will say, when I looked over at the screen, I did think, are you reading Sakamoto?
What?
Only on the far out panel.
Okay.
Because you don't see the, I don't think, no, like when you were zoomed in, I'm saying, on the panel where he is farther away, I don't think you noticed the ponytail, and I can see it Sakamoto.
Okay. I don't accept it, but I am willing to.
It is a, at a glance, maybe.
Sure. Yeah, at a glance. This ain't no Chainsaw Man just showing up in the actual backgrounds.
No, I don't think that is supposed to be Sakamoto, if
Yeah.
that is whoever what he's saying.
Yeah, but okay, I can see why someone would look at this and think that. I'll accept that. Now let's see him probably commit a war crime. Okay, so it's not just him, it is like all these people with support gear. Man, does Wash not have a car? Like, I feel like if you're a hero in My Hero Academia, especially if you're in the top 10, you should have a vehicle unless you can, like, move faster without it. Like, I'm fine with Endeavor not having an Endeavor mobile, because he can, like, run and kind of fly. But Wash should have some sort of Washmobile. Oh, you could call it the washing machine. Which is really just an extension of the fact that he is a washing machine named Wash. It really defeats the whole purpose now that I think about it. Okay, you do raise a point. I don't know that he's not running faster than a car. There is nothing in the background to insinuate that. And he does have, like, speed lines here. Ah, and that's why we got that's why we had that panel, or, that whole, like, scene last chapter. Like, now Detronaut technology is out there, people are arming themselves. Yeah, like, I do appreciate that. Hero Society might not be great, but at the same time, we do see that they do have, like, training in place specifically for rescuing civilians and fighting safely in combat. Like, it is categorically worse for people to be taking the matter into their own hands as opposed to getting that training. Like, I would definitely prefer it if, like, this was something that people could generally learn about. Like, I would definitely prefer it if you have a quirk, instead of having to go specifically to a hero course, if just, PE classes had more hero stuff in them. If it was more of a, if you need to use your quirk, here's a little of how to do it. But I mean, that is the society of the series. It's not like Horikoshi is saying this is a really great system that always works. Oh, that sucks. It's like he didn't get here in time, and he's like now he's gonna get the big roasting from everyone. Ah, I mean, it is something that I do hate in hero stuff, and like I do understand that it would be realistic, but I do hate the like, where were you, Spider-Man? While you were, saving someone else from a burning building, my family was getting their asses beat by Doc Ock. Where were you? And I think it is actually really cool that, like, Washington takes, like, he's sweating it, but then he does immediately go, like, all right, well, I'm gonna, clean you up. Like, at the very least, like, I am going to help with the aftermath, as opposed to, well, I guess I'm gonna leave because I suck. Oh no, Yoroi Musha's retiring. Man, we've seen, like, nothing from Yoroi Musha. Yeah. Like, I do find this really sad. I do like The concept of this, the idea that he's been working this whole time to try and protect people, and all he ever wanted was love and respect, and now he's retiring because like he's seen what hero society is like, and he wants to leave, and everyone's just saying like, no, you suck. Like I can't believe you're quitting now. You should stay here so we can hate you more. Yeah, like if it was any of the old guard of heroes that we know about retiring, that'd be big. Plus, the fact that we're seeing this means that, like, narratively speaking, I don't think Endeavor's going to retire here either. Like, it would be really weird if we did this for Musha, and then we later saw Endeavor also do the same thing. Because we would get more or less the same response, right? Like you're just dodging responsibility, / you need to make amends for your actions. I mean, you are right, homie. Like, as much as I understand it to a degree. Like, I also want love and respect as a person. But at the same time, this is getting back to that initial idea of the series. Or, not like I guess it is less like what the series said and more like what Stain said back in the day. They're like, there are heroes out there who are just doing it for the paycheck. There are heroes who are just getting high off of the, like, people adoring them. And that is inherently bad. Like, to Stain, Musha is absolutely the kind of person who should have retired a long time ago, because he's not doing this to selflessly help people. He's doing it for a personal reason. Even if you can justify it as as the classic, there is no such thing as altruism problem. Like, if you do something good for someone, you feel a little good, therefore it's not altruistic. We're seeing the PTSD panels over here. This was the trigger that convinced numerous heroes to abandon their careers. Many had eagerly signed up for the cause when a peaceful society was the baseline assumption. But now, for better or for worse, the meaning of the word hero was being put to the test. And that's so good. Because this itself was a, like, relatively recent incident. This was we all believe that All Might is, even if All Might's no longer serving, at the same, this was his last big burst. This means that we should still believe in heroes. And to see this statue with "I am not here" on it is so strong. Was this retypeset? It looks like perfectly done. Like, if that's retypeset, that is like volume level retypesetting. Yeah, I could definitely see it being a, during the next big fight, Musha comes out of retirement and he's fighting again. For better or for worse, those heroes are being put through a sieve. Speak of the devil. I mean, obviously, there's no way that we would, be touching the subject matter and that we would have, seen Stain during the breakout and then we wouldn't focus on him. Like, this is what he wanted. Like, I'm definitely not saying Stain was right. But, like, this is the, like, when you are, like, super radicalized and then something happens that is, affirming your worldview. Like, this is Stain either being proven right or being proven wrong. Like, he might look at this and say, no, this does suck. Or he might end up saying, like, you know what? This was a lot better. Like, all the riffraff left. And now Hero Society is better. I was right all along. Yeah, I feel like we are definitely... I don't think we're going to focus on him. I think he's going to be around the background. We might get, like, some news stuff with him every once in a while. But I don't think he's going to really make an impact until Deku needs to do something really big. I think Stain will, like, not fight alongside Deku. I don't think Deku will approve of Stain. But I do think we'll have a moment of Stain saying, like, I accept that this boy is the successor to All Might. So if anyone deserves to, not die right now, it is him. Like, I think he might do he might defend Deku, and Deku will have to reluctantly accept it because otherwise he's gonna die. I wonder how, like, artificial blood types work with Stain's ability. Like, I could see them doing the twist at some point of Shigaraki doesn't have human blood in his veins anymore. Like, due to the way he has been modified, he's using, like, a very unique, like, strain of Nomu blood. And because of that, when Stain consumes it, it does, like, disable Shigaraki for a lot longer than it would otherwise. So, I mean, we saw the crowd before. It looks like it got a lot bigger. And as much as I don't like Endeavor, I don't envy him in this moment. like barely recovered from his grievous wounds, and now he's gonna have to get down there and somehow pacify the entire country. I like Shroom Doctor. Shroom Doctor looks like he knows what a good time is. He's looking rough. He must have known I'd survive this because he knows exactly what sort of man I am. Oh, that's really rough. Because yeah, that's not even a like Endeavor was completely, on the verge of passing out. It is that he did genuinely freeze up in combat. Like, he knowingly sacrificed one of his sons. He was about to let his other son die. I'm not going to say the next chapter, but give it enough time, we're probably going to get Dr. Goomba. And I'm glad that Endeavor especially is taking it like this. Like, I was really worried we were going to go with the trope of, because Best Genius, said that one part of that speech was wrong, therefore, everyone's going to accept that the whole thing is wrong. I might get to live on, but Endeavor died back there. My son's a mass murderer, yet I can't fight him. Like, I'm really, really genuinely hoping that we aren't leading up to a, Endeavor's back in business one last time. I kind of want him to stay down. I don't think I want him to do everything he can to make amends, but I don't think he can make amends and be a hero anymore. I mean, throughout the entire Todoroki family reconciliation, he's wanted to make amends, but I don't think he's been this actually, openly available and honest. If they're gonna have a serious talk with him, I guess now might finally be the time. That, and also the fact that they don't have to dance around Toya anymore. They can openly talk about him now. In fact, that's probably why they're here. Not just because their dad is nearly dying, but also because, they finally have to confront the black sheep. They've got to talk about this now. Oh my god! Okay, her name was, Ray. So, it's been 300 chapters. This might be the first time in all of My Hero Academia history that we have had, a round chapter that has actually been really big and really impactful. Also, I mean, I am just a sucker for, part twos of chapters that are, distanced by long spans of time. Or, anytime we get, an origin chapter in My Hero. My Hero is really good about that. And I wasn't that big of a fan of the original The Hellish Todoroki Family. So the idea that this is The Hellish Todoroki Family Part 2, it's also such a strong emotional smash of, Endeavor's feeling really bad. I feel bad for Endeavor. He's finally feeling all of this. And now Ray shows up and says, yeah, what about your heart? Are you finally feeling some emotion about you being a horrible person? Guess what? I was in a mental hospital for 18 years. I'm here to talk about our family and about our son Toya. I think that's a really strong panel too, because it is the Dabi was willing to completely annihilate himself in that fight if it meant, killing his father and killing Shoto, if it meant making them suffer and, achieving his dreams. But he isn't, insane by any stretch of the imagination. He is putting himself back together. He still has something he wants to do. This panel of... I usually don't get to participate in the discourse around My Hero chapters, but I really want to see people reacting to this this specific image of Endeavor. Him looking at his wife speaking coherently for the first time in a long time and losing his mind because he's like, oh shit. That is a reaction phase. I also really like the framing of this chapter. The fact that it isn't a, expansion. I thought this was going to be the, we're going to see an example of a bad thing happening, and then we're going to see, it get bigger and bigger and bigger as, people discuss how do we deal with this. but instead it was more of a, like, shrinking. Like, we saw what society is like right now, and then we start moving in closer and closer on Endeavor himself. Like, Yorumusha is, like, I like this so much more now that I get the idea that this is supposed to be like a parallel to Endeavor. It isn't taking away the potential, like, shine of what Endeavor might do next. It is him, it is Yorumusha quitting, and that being the, like, well, if he quits, that doesn't mean that he's making amends. Like, this is a cowardly act. Ah, I mean, not gonna lie, I definitely don't want her to end this with a "Don't worry, I forgive you." Like, I also don't want it to be a "I'm going to pull out a katana and cut your head off." Oh boy, yeah, that sucks. Like, like, if you're gonna criticize anyone, like, I don't like people sending death threats to Horikoshi. Don't send death threats to people, but, like, if you're going to send criticism at least to anyone, at least send it to, like, the editorial staff or to, like, the write-in thing for Horikoshi. Like, don't attack the translator. The translator can't do anything about this. Especially with this chapter. Like, I would not be angry about this. This feel like, as someone who personally does not like Endeavor very much and who has been, like, slowly, like, at the very least empathizing with him over the course of, the last few arcs. Like, I still find this really, like, I think this is a really good moment. This is a great, like, he's finally, like, he doesn't get to be the sad sack in this situation. And I think that's part of what people don't like. Like, the fact that it is being told over this extremely long period, and it isn't a, like, absolute demonization of the bad party. The fact that it is this extremely slow healing process. I mean, literally over the course of, like, before Shoto's entire life. And it isn't just your typical anime backstory of, okay, bad things happened over there, but now we're not going to talk about them because I'm better now. Like, it is a genuine family tragedy. And I think it would be a big disservice if Horikoshi sped it up anymore. Like, even after this, I don't want them to be like, okay, now, it's time for you to suffer and make your penance, Endeavor. I do think the rest of his life has to be his penance. Like, even if, like, regardless of what he's like right now, he does clearly want to make amends. But I think it has to be a combo of, he wants to make amends and he doesn't get to have the family. Or, he doesn't get to force them all to act like they're happy to, be around him. Like, he doesn't get to have the one house that everyone is living in and they're all trying to be fine. I think this is going to be the moment of, like, you gotta do what you gotta do. You go out there, like, trying to diffuse the situation as you can, and don't expect us to be the shoulder that you get to cry on, because we've suffered, like, a lot because of you, and we're not here to be your punching bag. Yeah. Like, I think he's done a lot. It's just, like, oh no. I don't want to see his grandparents. But yeah, like, I think it's a really realistic, like, movement towards making amends. It is like a lifelong process. And that is what I want to see from the series. And it's been doing a good job of making this be a lifelong process. Like, in the same way that I would be really disappointed if Deku graduates from UA and at the end they're like, by the way, here society is perfect now. Like, I do imagine that's also going to be this long process. And even when the series is over, I think in the epilogue, we're probably still going to have hero society problems that are, being addressed by the next generation. Like, I think that's the only way to handle it in a series without making it feel too, like, trite. In the same way that, like, if Ray cut off Endeavor's head and then said, all right, we're done here, and then the family was fine after that, it would also feel really, really forced. I feel like this chapter was a little too mixed to be number one. Like, if Undead Unluck was a little bit worse this week, it'd be number one. It's right up there, but this chapter was too good. Yeah, it is still fantastic. Like, I'm not going to keep on going because it's going to be the same stuff over and over again. But, geez. And this makes me really, really happy. Like, it's been a while since I've talked about why I like My Hero Academia. You know, there's some things the series does wrong, but it also does a lot right. And this was a very, very right chapter. Okay. Is there anything else I'd want to hit? Not really. Like, strong Dobby energy here. Love Dobby's dance. Really like this Dobby too. Like seeing him ripping his hair out with one hand and like gesturing to his father with the other hands. Yeah, that's badass. So with that, let us move on to the final series this week. Me and Roboco, Chapter 28, Competitive Eating in Bondo. Oh boy. Oh boy, what is this? I can't believe this. Yeah, because this is also all original footage. Or like, original drawings. They did just draw an entire parody ED for the series. Someone out there has absolute faith in Roboco. Like, the last time I remember something like that happening was, I think within the first 30 chapters of Chainsaw Man, we did get the animated Chainsaw Man OP with the, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, Chainsaw Man, like, repeating OP. Like, knowing the vibe of Roboco, especially the fact that Roboco is so, like, to the second, I feel like they would somehow find a way to, like, learn what the OP is going to be for a Jump adaptation running in the same season, and then copy it, like, frame by frame. I guess they could just, like, have the same studio do 2 different adaptations, and then just, have all the newbies work on the Roboco adaptation. Now, competitive eating in Bondo. Oh man, I mean, the One Piece OP is the one where they could just like not like consult Toei on it and just go like, you know what? We know what every One Piece OP is gonna be like. We can just wing this one. It does. They do the same stuff every single time. Ah, Kanapé and Inuchika are back. I feel kind of concerned seeing them side by side here, though. I mean, first of all, big age gap. Second of all, Inuchika is terrifying. And now, introducing the 4 competitors. Oh boy, what is this gonna look like? Arriving first, last year's champion, standing 8 feet 8 inches tall and weighing in at 440 pounds, the man who eats an entire cow every day. It's the Beefeater Kid Gyutaro. Reigning champion, the Beefeater Kid Gyutaro. We've got Gigant Space Stomach Kuroda, the 7-year slacker. Isn't the guy next to you the real Gigant? Oh boy, yep, this guy feels like the real Gigant. The 69th Yonezuka, Akasion to you. And at 4 feet 7 inches tall, weighing 77 pounds, he's not only the smallest contender here, he's also the youngest. It's Bondo, a literal 5th grader Tyra. Oh, this screen is so exploitable. He's 11. Bondo, a literal 5th grader Tyra. I love it. Now, at no point in the series has his thing been he eats a lot. So this feels like a really weird direction to go for a chapter. I can't get over Bondo, a little 5th grader Tyra. It's such a good gag. I can see some NTR squad energy here. Like, this is definitely the ugly old guy. This is, I mean, I guess sumo wrestler is not really a part of the NTR squad. Like, creepy skinny guy and, the big ugly guy. Like, those 2 fits. Bondo feels like he is the NTR protagonist. Except, of course, in an NTR doujin, it would not be, he's 11. Also, they don't shout out his name here. Like, you only learn he's 11 in this. I mean, I guess it depends on the framing. Like, the protagonist, it depends on whether the Dojin is saying it's really cool if you are stealing someone's girl, or if the Dojin is saying it's really cool if your girl gets stolen. And I'm putting it in heteronormative terms because that is like 99% of every NTR Dojin. What the heck? Are they gonna start killing each other? Okay, so we're not treating it as if he is as scary as all of them. Okay, so he was being an actual 11-year-old. He did just see an eating contest to go, hey, this would be fun. Which I do like with his character. Like, that does fit him. He is the kind of child who acts like a child and does things not just because it's part of his character, but because he thinks they might be fun. Whoever's first to finish 50 meat buns, 50 plates of fried rice, and 50 bowls of ramen is the winner. So it's not even a, like, how much of these can you eat? It is like, no, you gotta finish all 150 dishes of these. Like, we're just assuming that is the baseline. Like, you're gonna finish all of them. The winner will receive free meals for a year, okay? The losers will receive... Oh, no! Oh, no! The losers will receive a 365-day, 364-night tour of the underground labor facilities beneath Shueisha. This isn't even a manga chapter! They just threw this one in! If you act now, skin branding is free. Oh, no. Oh, what was his name again? It was like Double Week now, right? Like, he did change his name. But like, I thought this was a goof for the chapter, but I guess no, he has the Gumu on him now forever. That's just his character design. That's commitment. I'm gonna be upset if they change it again then. This is branding. This is skin branding. That's not even a tattoo. They burned that onto his body. Combined issue. That's right. His name is now Combined Issue. Okay, well, all he can do is win somehow. I mean, Roboco probably can't sub in, right? So, what could he do? I mean, this could be a Roboco less chapter. Alternatively, like, we know Roboco's body is extremely strange. Maybe she has some weird gag manga tips on how to eat. And by telling him how to eat more, he will be able to, like, inflate himself, like Luffy, and consume all the food. Oh, this is Saiyan level eating. I can't do this. He's gonna die. I have heard of this as an actual, like, speed eating tactic of you just crush the food into a dense ball of pure energy, then you consume it. Oh, he charges the table to pump himself up. Did he mean to dump his buns onto the ground? He didn't. A huge tactical error. Okay, maybe Bondo will win by virtue of everyone else being extremely incompetent. Meanwhile, Kuroda's normal eating vaults him into the lead. So none of these gimmicks are all pointless. Can we count this as a Bobobo reference if he just says Bobobo because his mouth is too full? Does that count as a reference? I mean, I guess it might be the opposite, actually. I could see the series being created because the mangaka had his mouth full, and he tried to say Bobobo, and it came out as Roboco, and he was like, oh, that could be a manga. Also, it's come up twice, so I guess I do just have to accept that Nakamura is a character that has existed before. It feels like the series is kind of gaslighting me on that one. This can't be legal. She's an order maid. Also, like, just in general, there's no way that you can do an eating contest and then sub out for someone else. That feels that defeats the purpose of an eating contest. So she is winning, or, like, she is catching up, which makes sense because she is a robot. Okay. Oh no, the soup's too hot. She is canonically a wimp. So how do we get around this? I mean, she's got the pigtails. I guess she could spin them really fast in order to, like, create a cold wind in order to cool down the noodles. Roboco is just Fies. She does have the cat tongue. Nakamura's family restaurant will be driven out of business if a serious eater wins the prize, so you entered yourself to try and stop them. This is, in a weird way, this is the opposite of their gag, but not really. Like, it's not that they're mean. It is that they are forcibly putting a wholesome view of the situation onto what Bondo's doing. I mean, I guess that is kind of their gag normally. Like, it is the, you dumb loser, you didn't read all that manga? That's okay, come to our house and we'll, help you read it for you, or we'll help you do your homework. It is like that, except it is a, like, they've mercifully read this entire situation in a completely benevolent way. Also, this seems like a hellish contest. Who is running this contest? Because it also doesn't seem like it's something that the restaurant wanted to do. It seems like they were forced into doing this, where the prize is, you're probably going to go out of business after delivering this prize, and you have no recompense. I guess it has to be Shueisha. Because if it's not Shueisha, that means some other party has set up the situation in which someone is going to go to the death camp of Shueisha. Now, I have tried this before, and maybe I just don't know how to slurp properly. Like, I also can't really play brass instruments very well, so maybe I just don't have, like, the proper sucking, slurping motion. But every time... Ah, thank you. Oh no, how do I continue this one? Oh no. So what I was trying to say was, so I'm gonna have to take a second to get back on track. I don't think this works for extremely hot food. I know it works for hot food, but I feel like, I mean, to be fair, I do see people, like, immediately get a bowl of ramen and they immediately start slurping it in order to cool it down. So I guess it has to be capable of working, but it just does not work for me. Like, in the same way that I really like tea, but I cannot drink fresh hot tea. Even if I do, like, try to introduce air to the tea in order to cool it down in my mouth, like, it's still gonna burn me either way. I don't know how to not make it burn me. This feels so weird because this is also, like, this feels very shonen, in that this is an actual thing that you can do in real life. And they are treating it like this super secret special move. Okay, so I doubt it's that she actually figured out how to slurp properly, so how's she doing this? She's inhaling the bowls! I get it! The bowls aren't hot! It's an absolute power move! Now, can she eat the bowls faster than this normal human being can slurp these noodles?
The bowl's not hot.
You know how food works. When the hot food is in the bowl is not. I'm not sure if I understand this one either. That's not fair. Using a robot, that's the power of science, not eating. No, it's not science. I thought I was going to lose, but writhing and suffering, doing anything I could to stop that, having the gutsiest guts you can guts, is what humans call science. So it is science. Okay. That's for betting it on. It was science. She just cheated. It just is not okay if you are a robot and you eat the bowls in order to eat faster than human beings. That is a wild chapter. Good chapter. I think I'm gonna have to put this above Dr. Stone. Me and Roboco is really good. Like, as much as I enjoyed this Dr. Stone chapter, and as much as there's, good stuff in it, it didn't give me the sheer glee of watching Roboco eat entire bowls. It's weird that that's so rare in comedy series in Jump. Roboco is one of the only gag manga I've read in the last long while to just straight up do big gag things. Like, I will read High School Family every once in a while. Like, I'll peek in and see, like, okay, what's going on? And it's usually just, hey, look at this boomer. Or, look at this child and this boomer. No. If High School Family had a page where Ichiro looked at the camera and said, I'm a boomer, then yes, I would like the series. The problem is that it doesn't. The problem is that the series just kind of just I gotta work through it. I gotta push through the comedy. The problem is that the series just shows me a boomer.
You got this. You got this.
It seems that I'll find it funny. But I only find it funny in concept. By actually drawing the boomer, they suck the comedy out of it. And it becomes bad. What I like about me and Roboco is that it manages to contain the comedy in the images. And I look at it and I think it's funny.
So you're fighting through tears.
I'm fighting through tears. My eyes are so full of tears. I'm going to have to make sure that my AI just ignores this entire part. Because I'm pretty sure half of my laughter is not caught on mic, and it's going to cut it in the most insane way possible.
The only gag series I've enjoyed in recent times, because I have just been watching you remix the gag series because I don't care.
Sure.
It's been Spirit Busters.
Okay.
That also did big gags, like gag gags.
Yeah, Spirit Busters, like, I don't, until me and Roboco, I don't think there has been a comedy series in Jump that has done anything as funny as when Mitama takes the ball and cuts it up like a cabbage. Everything else has been worse.
I don't know, the gun spinning, the revolver spinning is still maybe the funniest bit.
The revolver spinning is really good.
But yeah, there's not many series that are doing the big gags like Roboco is anymore.
Yeah. I mean, why? Is that just Japanese society? Did someone decide comedy isn't funny anymore?
I mean, they've had gag manga for billions of years. Billions.
I feel like the one thing Japanese culture has managed to cancel has not been, like, sex offenders. It has been comedy.
But Ozumazu was talking about being worried about being canceled. It was because they're a gag series.
It was because season 1 was funny, and so they made season 2 and 3 not funny, and they made the movie extremely not funny. Okay, that's enough. We have to move on to the author comments. Oh boy, the Promised Neverland poll. I didn't expect this to happen because I didn't know this existed. Let's see who got in the top 10. So, Ray number 1, Norman number 2, Emma number 3. Okay, English audiences have bad taste. I can't believe Ray and Norman both beat Emma. What?
I can't believe Norman beat Emma.
So, Phil number 4, fine. Isabella 5, sure. Mujika and Sanju, then Anna. I mean, to be fair, the Japanese audiences voted Anna like number 4 in the actual poll, so I don't understand. Why do people like Anna so much? Gilda, Sister Krone, Dawn, William Minerva, Connie, Nat, Tama, Lanyan. Okay. I can't believe none of, like, the Goldie Pond... to be fair, no one from Goldie Pond made it into the top 16.
I don't even know who Lanyan is.
I don't know who Lanyan is. So you know what? Maybe they did need to skip Goldie Pond. If no one likes any character from Goldie Pond. Like, Nameless Geezer not on here.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, this could be the anime people as well.
It could be the anime.
You're not thinking about the nightmare scenario of anime people who read some manga, come to Shonen Jump for Manga Plus for some manga, and go, I've seen the first season of Promised Neverland. What characters are Ray, I remember that guy.
Yeah. The problem is that they're also shouting out Sanju and Mujika, so they had to have at least seen the first few episodes of season 2.
can't believe Luvis isn't anywhere on.
Luvis is... No one likes Luvis.
Like, on like, Viz's, like, fan page, when they had, like, the, send in all your fan art and everything.
Yeah.
There was Luvis there, constantly.
Right. It's... What in the world? I'm not sure if I'm going to timestamp this. This was a disappointment.
I want to chalk this up to just being the, like, who even knew about this? And,
true.
Like,
to be fair, I did not vote in this. I didn't know this happens.
Yeah, and, like, you're reading this every week.
Yeah.
You have a whole server, nobody pointed it out to you. Like, who found this, and who are the kind of people who vote on these?
I see. It's probably the big brain people. That's why Ray got #1, Norman got #2, because they were like, oh, people like me, like Ray and Norman, the main characters. I love them.
The English character polls are never interesting enough because they're such a small group.
Yeah.
It's always like, we got 1,000 votes, guys. Like, I get probably under mom. Each of these people has like double digit or under. Like,
yeah.
Like, sorry, 10 or under. Not even. I'm saying 10 or under.
Probably.
That's
You're
how
right.
most English polls go.
Yeah. Okay, we're just moving on. This was a disappointment. The Promised Neverland fanbase has failed me. It's author comments time. Oh, we get to see all the comments for the... I say this every single month. Every time the monthly series get to do their author comments, I'm always like, oh, I'm so excited. But they're never good.
It's like 2.
I moved into a single family home. I don't know if that's good or... I don't know if that's an upgrade or a downgrade. Homie, have you considered that dropping your rankings at the start of this doesn't make any sense? I mean, so many of the early, like, I'm starting the series comments have just been like, hey guys, this is my first time doing digital. Because, like, 2020 has been the year of, you can't do it physically anymore. You cannot go to the family restaurants and spill ketchup all over your manuscript and then go like, I'm sorry, I don't have a manuscript this week. I get moments where I want clear stones, alternated with moments where I want opaque stones. Right now, it's opaque stones. I mean, yeah, I feel like you should probably just post your rankings in the Jump server. Because also, like, when I do look at them, I don't really have anything to say apart from I'm always surprised that the Yozakura family is as high as it is. But I can't, like, I'm not going to argue with you on them. I'm not going to say, no, move it down. Oh, One Piece. Sorry, Eiichiro Oda, Mr. One Piece, finally has a Blu-ray player. You can record a full week of shows. Absolutely amazing. I have been enjoying, since, like, I'd say post-time skip, like, the slow revelation of Oda as he's like, hey guys, I went outside and I went to a concert and I watched television. Did you guys know about television? And now we're at the stage of, hey guys, did you know you can record television?
In 2017, he said, the doctor said I had something called astigmatism. Apparently I have to wear glasses when I draw. Me who's been doing this for 15 years?
Listen, if I don't see the Catboy and Catgirl, they don't exist. I read, like, the first 10 chapters of Yozakura. This week is super busy. Get ready in 3 seconds. You'll be late for the trend of the era. I mean, as much as I say I don't like Komato's comments, I do almost invariably read them out loud every single week. By that nature, they are good author comments. He's just not a great... He doesn't have a lot going on that I think is good. But when he says things, I find them funny. Oh no, last week there was an error with the sound effects. It's not Matsuo who's stupid. It's me. Really, I didn't notice anything last week. Do I care? Wait, what? I'm honored to be serialized with Shinohara-sensei, who has become my brother-in-law. Wait, what? What is going on in Kentaro Yabuki's life? This is some real harem bullshit. Is it? He's definitely having sex with his sister. This is Kentaro-sama. He's the master of...
I don't know. Also, he said brother-in-law.
Yeah, but if he has a brother-in-law, that means he must have a sister. He lives in Japan. It can't be his brother-in-law marrying his brother.
Oh, okay, never mind. I was thinking of, yeah, I forgot what brother-in-law meant.
Don't worry, I've been there.
I was thinking stepbrother. Yeah, that's a completely different thing.
But I refuse to believe that the To Love Ru mangaka is not in a complicated love triangle in his own life. I do mean love triangle, not love angle. Yeah, I assumed it was the other author marrying his sister, but Kentaro was in love with his sister, and then the two mangaka are in love because they're in the author comments together. Now that I explain myself, this sounds extremely dumb, and I'm gonna move on. It popped in my head as an obvious, like, of course this makes sense, but now that I'm talking about it, it doesn't make any sense. Now, the author comments, 2020, 2021. Now, this is a lot worse. Okay, I'll look at him. Okay, Kigurumi is good. This is okay. You know what? That's a good look. Now this is an assassin series, right? How did this happen? I mean, this is all. I do like this design because it is like, you know, half paws, half like human limbs, but it does concern me. It concerns me a little bit. Okay, if she's happy, then that's good. I can only imagine that their lives are an extremely complicated love quadrilateral situation. But okay, that is Weekly Shonen Jump for the week of February 7th, 2021. Next time it is Valentine's Day. Oh boy. There are no romantic series in Jump, right?
Blanketly, no romantic series.
Yeah. Like, we have I Tell C now, which is very yandere. Ayakashi Triangle, it does not run in physical Jump. It is digital only. So that wouldn't count. Yosakura Family, actually, I guess Yosakura Family is like a wedding series of sorts. I Tell C just had a cover, though. Like, I guess they could just do, like, a big collage where, like, you know, everyone draws all the characters. But I feel like they also do that, like, way more often now than they used to. Can they... Is Jump going to make all the mangaka do that again for Valentine's Day this time? Okay. Fire Punch coming out this week. I've recorded both parts. It's finally gonna come out. Undead Unluck... I mean, Undead Unluck actually is... It has more romance in it than most other series in Jump right now. I could see it. Yeah. We'll see. I'm hoping that it is a singular series that does a Valentine's Day cover, and not just a mishmash of every series in Jump, where they're all, like, throwing chocolates to each other or something, but I feel like it's gonna be that.
I hope it is all of the worst generation of One Piece giving each other Valentine's cards.
Ah.
Honestly,
Uh-huh.
I feel like they're just gonna default to One Piece. They do a Valentine's thing. I don't know. Do something, Oda. We don't have anything else.
Okay. Catch ya later. Bye for now. Nya nya.